camera is actually prepared in advance this time for once and everything, and I think we are good to get going. So yeah, it's been a while, but finally I am playing Chapter 4. A lot of it is I just have found that I often just do not actually feel up to streaming on weekends. So short of giving myself, even when I tried to give myself a specific time, it just didn't work out, so I'm going to use my now every other Monday time slot to do the rest of my Scarlet Hollow runs, which will be, after this I have 2 more runs I want to do. And I know I've messed around with like the Karen run where like doing all the mean options, but after doing Chapter 4 of this, the next thing I think I will do is that run, but I'm going to start again from the beginning, trying to, because I feel like last time it wasn't the run I meant it to be, so. Anywho, let us get going. So we're starting right from the beginning of right from the end of Chapter 3, really. It's been a while, so let's do a full recap. Although, before I do that, let's see if I can't see all my major decisions. So first of all, of course, the Max's skills are mystical and talk to animals. Major decisions so far: took some boiled peanuts on Monday. Took some boiled peanuts from a stranger. Met Dustin, the opossum that lives in my dresser, and made him a nest. Watched Duke die in the woods and called the police. Met Stella's friend Kanika and her mother Sybil and learned about ditchlings, and then crashed at Stella's. On Tuesday, woke up in Stella's guest room, let Tabitha kick Stella out of her living room to talk to me, told Avery the truth about last night's encounter in the woods, had tea with Avery at the diner, walked with Stella to the mines, spoke to one group of miners, barely. Max is awkward and not good at talking to people, so that was like, hello! So how's it been? You know, seen anything weird lately? No? Okay, bye! And then gave up. Went after the teens without calling Tabitha. That would have involved too much talking. Went after Becca and Alexis at the cost of Rosalina's safety. On Wednesday, major decisions included met Dustin's mom and found out about the squatter who kicked her out of her glass house. Rude. Finally took a shower. Met Janie, the pastor's wife, who cleans the estate once a week. The hospital had to amputate Rosalina's foot after the injuries she sustained in the mine collapse. Met Beau, the late Duke's enormous son. I told him where he could find his dad's body. Hung out with Avery at their community garden and found out that the miners are planning a strike. Met the mayor. Dog? Question mark? Exclamation point? And gave him my pocket peanuts as a campaign contribution. I'm finally free of my nutty curse. Met Scarlet Hollow's resident creepypasta, and it seems that he shares my special gift. Talk to animals, specifically. Had dinner at Reese's. There's something hidden in the clinic, and it wants me to find it. Invited Avery ghost hunting. Left the spirit of Charles Shaw Jr. in the library. You know, I see Max as someone with some anxiety, and he kind of just panicked. Made plans with Sybil to talk about mysterious goings-on over tea tomorrow. By which we really kind of mean Sybil was like, you should come talk to me, and Max was like, okay. So yeah, and let's also do that full recap, now that I have given context for all of the things. The long-lost cousin, the bad news, the 26 hours of bus rides with countless late-night stops and seedy depots that felt unsafe even in the middle of the day. You wouldn't normally find yourself traveling like this, but your cousin bought the tickets. The funeral of Pearl Ann Scarlet. Your cousin's mother and your aunt seemed like something you shouldn't ignore, even considering your own late mother's rocky relationship with this side of the family. Tabitha. Welcome to our family's humble estate. Fortunately, due to the current state of the house, only a few rooms will be safely accessible during your stay. I wouldn't go wandering anywhere else if you value your limbs. The floors have been known to give out. Dustin. Afraid! A single deer remains behind, staring down the beam of Stella's flashlight while Gretchen whines and pulls at her harness. Deer. Pain, rot, decay. Duke. Come on, you, whatever your name is, grab that flashlight and help me line up a good shot. As the creatures in the tree line grow louder and more numerous, Gretchen violently strains against her harness. You dive forward and scoop Gretchen into your arms just before she manages to wriggle out of her harness. Your eyes fixate on the dark tree line over Duke's shoulder. Duke. God damn it! Tiffany Franklin. Stella, keep an eye on him for us. Make sure he doesn't get into any more trouble. Sybil. My grandmother called them ditchlings, and they are a terrible omen. A sign of great suffering and destruction to come. Stella. Make yourself at home. Tabitha. From now on, you're back at the estate by bedtime. No more impromptu sleepovers. Avery. Wow, that is some heavy stuff. No wonder Stella seemed distant. I'm gonna keep my ears open for you. The diner is where everyone comes to gossip, so I hear a lot about what goes on around here. I'll let you know if anyone mentions those monsters or anything else strange or unusual. Oscar. Have either of you seen Rosalina around town? I don't want to be a helicopter dad, but she hasn't been answering my texts, and I wanted to make sure she isn't getting into trouble out there. Kanika. Hi, Dr. Kelly. We were wondering if it would be okay if Reese could come hang out? Stella. Nothing strenuous, we promise. Dr. Kelly. Whatever you two have planned is probably beyond what he can manage right now, anyways. Wayne.
Stay home. Wait for the week to end. Don't keep putting yourself in the path of danger. This is all I ask.
You're interrupted by a sudden movement out of the corner of your eye. A girl carrying a bundle of snacks pops through a hole in the fence and disappears over the crest of a hill. Kanika. She didn't. Stella. I guess the old Maxwell place doesn't cut it as a secret hangout spot these days. Kanika. But the Shaw mine? That place was shut down like 100 years ago. After a collapse that killed over 100 people. Becca. My dad is a foreman at the continuous mining facility, and he says they only abandoned this mine because there wasn't enough coal left. So it's actually really safe, and we can hang out here whenever we want. Rosalina. My dad says our house is haunted. Kanika is interrupted by a pair of thunderous knocks. Kanika. Wait a second, where did 3 of you run off to? Are you kidding me? There is something in the darkness before you that's much louder, though you don't hear it. But you can feel it in your chest, like the deep growl of a predator. Stella. Hey, are you alright, Max? Stella reaches for your shoulder, but not before the light from your phone illuminates the chamber. Stella. Max, are you alright? Rosalina. Wait, Becca and Alexis are still down there. You can't just leave them here. I know which way they were going. They'll listen to you this time, I promise. Your surroundings quake as the mine collapses around you. Tabitha doesn't say a word as the car cuts along the darkened road. You collapse in Tabitha's dusty guest bed, your head empty of thoughts. After your time in the Shaw mine, you barely even notice the dust. When you close your eyes, you see Rosalina's face, twisted with pain, staring up at you with tear-streaked cheeks. Trapped by powers beyond her control, terrified of what her now uncertain future would hold. There are two of them now. Max. What happened to your glass house? Dustin Mom. Asshole squatter move in. Kick Dustin Mom out. As you ready to leave, Janie approaches from the far side of the kitchen. Tabitha remains between the two of you, impatiently tapping her foot. Janie. Oh, Max, before you go, I heard about what happened last night. I'm so sorry you got caught up in that. I'll be praying for Oscar and poor little Rosalina. They're such sweethearts. Couldn't have happened to nicer people. Tabitha. Morning. Is the new blend ready? Sybil. Of course. Max, if you'd like to keep Miles company, Tabitha and I will be just a minute. Oh, excuse me. Ugh, wow, I do not have Beau's voice ready. Wait, you're Max, aren't you? My name is Beau. I'm Duke's boy. It's a pleasure to meet you. The policeman told me you saw what happened to my daddy. Avery. And this is the spot. It's a public garden I've been putting together. It was just an empty lot when I first moved here, but Winnie said it was okay for me to mess with it. So when I'm stuck in a rut with work or music, I come here and dig around in the dirt, just organizing the chaos for a little while. But I don't think we came here to talk about my side projects. I've been hearing some absolutely wild stuff about last night. I mean, I don't know how much you overheard in the diner, but it seems like the miners are planning a strike. He's a dog. You can tell this dog is the mayor from his little sash and his fancy top hat. There's a regal air about him, almost as if he knows the position of authority he's been elected to. Before you can catch up to your companions, you're intercepted by a nervous man with a cross around his neck. Mystical. It's hard to put a finger on it, but something compels you to dislike this man. And since it is such a mystical impulse, I don't trust it. I'm gonna say, as me as the player, I do not trust the mystical instinct that makes the priest feel like bad vibes. Strange man. Sounds like old Gretchen and the mayor may have some unresolved issues, wouldn't you say? I'm Pastor Daniel. I take it you're Max? Everyone's been buzzing about you. I'm so sorry about your aunt, but I'm sure she's in a better place now. If you'd ever like to discuss your beliefs, my door is always open. The basement is what you might expect out of a tortured artist who spends all of his time confined to his studio. Discarded canvases line its edges, while trash and sketches leak out from their piles in the corners of the room, hiding the bare cement floor. Ghoulish faces coat the walls in paint, sneering out at their creator. Kanika. Your mom is so scary. Reese. She can be a little intense, kind of overprotective, which I guess makes sense. Anyway, make yourselves comfortable. You'll have to forgive the mess. I've been distracted lately. Haven't been cleaning much. Dinner is already laid out. Dinner rolls, spaghetti, and a light salad. Kanika anxiously picks at her food. Stella is nervously talkative, and Reese is suddenly quiet and tense, his shoulders tight as his mother perches on the chair next to his. Dr. Kelly eyes all of you with a sharp, fierce gaze. Reese. So, I was wondering if we could maybe watch a movie sometime this week, while Max is still in town. Dr. Kelly. We'll have to see how you're feeling. Reese. I can handle a movie, Doc. Stella. Yeah, we'll just sit downstairs in the dark. Reese is used to that. I'm sure he'll be okay. Dr. Kelly. You're always overestimating how much you're able to do, Reese. This is why you keep getting sick. Reese. If I get sick, so what? It's not like that's ever going to change. I'm sick every day, and I'm not getting better. I don't want to spend the last few miserable years of my life holed up in the basement alone just because seeing my friends has been deemed too strenuous. I'm an adult, for God's sake. I can't believe I have to ask for permission from my mom just to have friends over. Reese stops mid-sentence, wincing in pain and wrapping himself in his arms. Dr. Kelly, don't say things like that. I'm doing everything I can to try and fix... Silence as Dr. Kelly's eyes shoot open. Stella. Reese? Reese abruptly pulls himself from the table and leaves. Oscar. Hey, you're just in time. Rosalina's situated in the back room. Alexis is going to keep her company while we hopefully get this all sorted out. Avery. Hey, hope I'm not too late. Have I missed any creepy paranormal stuff? Stella. Whoa. Oscar. This is where I've seen it. It appears on top of the stain. Stella pulls back the carpet, revealing a hatch, the floor around it stained in reddish brown. Stella. I'm going for it. Movement stirs as a figure cloaked in shadows rises to attention. The lover. Who are you? What are you doing on my property? Didn't quite have that, but that's fine. Before you have the chance to think, another door creaks open on what you thought was the ceiling. Wayne.
There you are. This is quite the maze, isn't it? And absolutely crawling with these miserable little parasites.
Oh, whoops. Didn't catch whatever that last thing was. I don't know. Yeah, okay, wait.
Bottom feeders.
Oscar. Sins of the father. Rosalina. Are to be laid upon the children. Kanika. Forfeit your years, and I will finally leave. A smell hits you. That now familiar, wet, unwell odor. Wayne.
What an annoying pest you are. But you couldn't keep me out for long. It seems we've exhausted its power. Holding all these bodies hostage must have been quite taxing. Come along, Max. It's desperate, but it has no power over you. There's no need to bow to the will of such a frayed and broken consciousness. Leave it to fester.
Ugh. Wayne's voice is ugh. Rough on the throat. You fall towards the entrance, your legs still unsure of the ground beneath you, and the doors fly open. You're outside. It's real this time. A cool autumn breeze blows small piles of dried leaves across the steps of the library. Wayne.
You made the right choice. It would have been so easy to fall for its tricks. I'm proud that you didn't. Be seeing you.
Okay, that's creepy, buddy. Stella. Sorry, I can't talk right now. See you later. She hurries off down the road. Sybil. Max, why don't you swing by the tea room tomorrow? Say, early afternoon? I'd love to chat for a little while. Come by any time. I'll be there all day. You don't even notice yourself entering the guest room and falling into bed. Suddenly, you're just there, buried under your family's musty covers. The spirit of Charles Shaw Jr. now commands the entirety of City Hall, a swirling void of wrath and despair that the people of this town will have to learn to ignore. Disaster looms its tallest yet over Scarlet Hall. And finally, it is time to wake up. Wow, the full recap is long. I mean, to be fair, the first 3 chapters are long. You open your eyes. It's a new day. Last night seems so far away. You can almost pretend the horrors you witnessed in the annex were nothing but a nightmare, chased away by the harsh morning light. But you know that the furious spirit of Charles Shaw Jr. yet lingers, locked behind the doors of the town hall, still tied to the earth by its hatred of you and your bloodline. An involuntary shudder runs down your spine. But your thoughts are interrupted by the buzz of your phone on the nightstand. Kanika. Hey, have you heard from Stella? I haven't been able to get a hold of her. Thought she might have at least checked in with you. You check your messages. There's nothing from Stella. Alright. We're gonna try texting Stella, by which we definitely mean sending a photo because Max is not great with words. You send a photo of a shaking frog biting his nails. You wait for a few silent minutes. Your message sits undelivered. What's the shortest thing here? I think the shortest and simplest useful, but still like useful text to send here is, haven't heard from her either. Kanika. That's not good. I know we haven't exactly gotten along, but we should meet up in town and look for her together. I don't know why Kanika thinks we haven't gotten along. I mean, like, I don't think we've not gotten along. I think we've just been neutral. I think Max and Kanika have just been neutral to each other. I don't know. I guess it's just the default if your, likability with Kanika is not very high. Looks like you have your morning plans in order. Might as well take a shower. You might as well take a shower before starting the rest of your day. You step into the guest bathroom and into the shower. It feels good to wash away the grime of last night's haunting, but eventually you'll have to leave this place and confront the rest of the day. In the meantime, you... Oh, hello, Johnny! Thank you for lurking. In this case, since Max is not super talkative, and I want to, forward the romance plot with Avery, I'm gonna go ahead and think about someone special. You think about someone special. Specifically, you think about Avery and their thrill-seeking attitude towards the supernatural. Maybe they're less chill than you initially thought, or maybe they're even more chill. You're done here. You turn off the faucet and dry yourself off. Quick check of the closet. You make your way to the closet. There's no denying it. The doll moved at some point since your most recent visit. But your long-dead relative's creepy doll isn't the only thing that's different. Someone was in here. Something to mull over for the rest of the day. And now, it is time for the very exciting Visit Dustin time! You open the drawers. They both have bread now. Dustin. Human is back! Dustin Mom. Maybe changed mind about eating us. Could be the end of Dustin and Dustin Mom. Max. I would never eat you. I love you. Dustin Mom. Dustin Mom know better than to trust. When push come to shove, survival more important than friendship. Dustin. Dustin Mom spend too much time outside. It different inside. There enough bread for everyone here. No need eat friends. Dustin Mom. Dustin still have childhood innocence. Hope Dustin get to keep that innocence forever. Oh, whoops. Yeah, okay, so it didn't give me a dialogue thing, but Max has just asked about the, so I guess the squatter's still in your glass house, so. Dustin Mom. Tried to reclaim glass house last night, but asshole squatter too big and strong. Dustin Mom stand no chance. Might have to live in Dustin house forever. Dustin. Human big and strong too. Probably more big and strong than asshole squatter. You fight? Give Dustin Mom glass house back? Oh, I'm so tempted to say anything for you, Dustin, but I think it's a little more realistic to say. I'll do my best, but no promises. Dustin Mom. Squatter have sharp things on head. Human be careful. But Dustin Mom would be eternally grateful to Human. Dustin. Dustin too! Max. I should get going. Both opossums. Kay! That's that. It's time to face your cousin. She's not here, but it looks like she left a note on the counter. Tabitha. Had to run. The librarian needed a new house, so I'm giving him the keys to the Maxwell place. And the miners decided to stage a strike today. Of all days, so I won't be around. I know there's no point asking you not to do anything reckless, but I'm asking anyway. Be back late. Call if you get into trouble. Tabitha. And you know, it's way too early for me to have to make the end of chapter 4 decision, but like, or decisions, really, because there's a few. But I feel like so far Max has very much not really called Tabitha for anything, but it's not really because he's in my headcanon of, or at least in my, like, from my, like, roleplay sense perspective of the character, I feel like it's not because he doesn't like Tabitha or doesn't want her help, it's just, it hasn't really been occurring to him. Like, you know, staying over at Stella's, and then the mine collapse is just like, calling people is stressful, so let's just skip that and try to deal with it. And then for the ghost hunt, I mean, I don't think he didn't assume she'd want to go on a ghost hunt. But in this case, she has specifically said, call me if you get into trouble. So I will remember that when making decisions later. Also because I want to see... Yes, so I think I can do 4 different endings for chapter 4 between my 4 runs. Anyway, time to figure out the rest of your day. Obviously talk to Frou Frou first. You walk over to the cat. Frou Frou. Oh, c'est toi. Qu'est-ce que tu veux maintenant? Wow, I'm out of practice with the French. Max. Will you ever let me pet you? Frou Frou. And coat my fur in your disgusting human oils. None. I missed you last night, Frou Frou. Frou Frou. That makes one of us. You nod respectfully to Frou Frou. She scoffs, her tail twitching with annoyance, but you can sense she's less annoyed than she usually is. Maybe she's getting used to you. Max. Bye, Frou Frou. Good talk. She scoffs as you turn away. Alright, might as well fuel up with quick PB&J. If Stella's MIA, who knows when you'll get the chance to eat. You make yourself a PB&J in anticipation for the long day ahead of you. And that's that. Time to investigate the garden. Whatever kicked out Dustin's mom is in the garden right now. You'd better look into it before you head into town. The air is chilly today, the overcast sky hanging oppressively over the weed-choked flower beds. You start carefully picking your way through the underbrush. It doesn't take much effort to find a path. Cuttings of prickly raspberry bushes and tangled vines litter the ground around the greenhouse. Talk to animals. The glass house, one could say. You step towards the door. Definitely a goat. Just from the image that you see there. It's sealed shut by a lock, and you catch a brief glimpse of a horned shadow through the ancient, clouded glass. You examine the lock. It looks sturdy. You'll need some tools if you're going to get this open. Maybe Stella or Kanika could lend a hand. Later. I do have a not on stream run wherein my character has talked to animals and street smart just so I could get into the greenhouse in this scene. So I have talked to the goat in the greenhouse. But I don't think I've already got 4 different playthroughs. I can't get every single scene in the game on screen. On stream, that is. But we can at least try to talk to whatever's behind the door. Max. What's your name, little guy? Goat. Goat. What are you doing in the greenhouse? Goat. Human put me here. Can't complain. Pretty sweet digs, honestly. Stays nice and warm, and there's plenty of eats, too. I don't really have a voice for the goat yet. Kind of workshopping it as I go. Max. Did that human have a brown coat and big boots? Goat. Coat like what? Fur? Nah, not brown fur. Yellow fur. Just on the top, like all you humans. Don't know what boots are. Can't help you there. Max. Where did you come from? Goat. Farm. Used to live with other guys like me. Kinda miss 'em, but not that much. Don't gotta share anymore. Max. Guess I'll leave you to it then. Goat. See ya! Or not. It's a wild world out there. You've investigated the garden. With Stella missing, it's best not to keep Kanika waiting for much longer. Time to head to town. In fact, it's time to head to town. You head to the front door and begin your trek to the town below. The sun shines down through a thin layer of clouds, illuminating the path in a watery gray light. You can't help but feel countless eyes watching you from the tree line, a feeling that reminds you of your time in the woods with Stella. Ditchlings shouldn't be out in the middle of the day, though. They're getting bolder. Hehehe. Anyway, spot the ditchlings. There's like that guy and that guy. Actually, is that two of them? Yes, that's two of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 5, 6. At a glance, I'm counting 6. Visible, anyway. Anyway, to your surprise, you find a familiar face making its way up the path towards you. Avery. Hey, I was just coming up to see you. Hope you were able to get some sleep after everything that happened last night. I was up most of the night, totally wired on adrenaline. Even if I'd been able to chill out a bit, knowing that thing was right down the street, yeah, not super conducive to a good night's sleep. Alright, so normally Max's default is to remain silent, but like, 1, I am trying to romance Avery in this path, and 2, like, Avery is definitely the person that Max has spoken to the most, by which I mean used the most words with, because you can kind of skip over the exact details and just assume that you were plot dumping Avery on what happened the night before. So I have headcanoned that since Max has already talked a whole bunch, more than he usually does, to Avery, he has become more comfortable talking specifically to Avery, especially when it is just the two of them. So, and this is both works with my headcanon roleplay scenario, and is, you know, convenient. I'm gonna turn my light on one sec. Since I've already got the sepia tone thing, I don't really need to go spooky, and still getting dark on the early side. So anyway, that is all to say that Max will be much more talkative in scenes that are with just Avery. Max, do you think it's still there? I hoped it might go away on its own. Oh, right, and of course the other exception, for anyone who hasn't watched in a while, is Max will talk normally and comfortably with any animal. And he also feels an obligation to share his mystical insights, as well as sharing the conversations he has had with animals, so those are also things he will comfortably verbalize. But yeah, I still am trying to do like a bit of voice acting for Max to have him sound a little awkward when talking to humans, but you know, it's just kind of working. It's not perfect. I'm not a professional voice actor. Anyway, so what did I just... So Max asked, do you think it's still there? I hoped it might go away on its own. Avery. I don't think it has any intention of leaving, so I guess the library is off limits from here on out. But considering the alternative, I don't think anybody can hold that against you. I'd much rather not be able to check out any library books ever again than let a ghost suck the life out of you. Seems like it would have been a bad trade. Oh, hey, there's another one behind where Avery was, so 7 of them. Yeah, I think maybe when I say Max is more comfortable talking to Avery, it is like not that he is suddenly going to become super chatty, just that he is going to do more dialogue options. So, worked up the nerve to do the do you think it's still there, but is not going to elaborate further. You have nothing to say. Avery. At least we're out of the maze, and if Sybil's right, all we have to do is steer clear of the library. Let's do the mystical. Max, how do you feel now that it's a new day? Possession is the sort of thing that can leave a mark on a person's soul. Avery. Aw, thanks for asking about the state of my soul. I appreciate that. I'd be lying if I said it didn't have an impact. I kind of feel bruised all over, physically and spiritually. But hey, that's part of life, right? Nobody makes it to the end completely unscathed. And I'm kind of thrilled that my new emotional baggage comes from a ghost and instead of some boring normal trauma. Max. There's ditchlings everywhere now, even though it's daytime. Avery turns to survey the tree line. Avery. I noticed a few on my way up. They're kind of funny now that I'm getting a good look at them, with their scrunched up little Shar-Pei faces. So, should I be worried about these things? I know they're a bad omen or something, but, like, are they dangerous? They're not gonna eat me if I take a wrong turn, right? Yeah, let's do the mystical. Max. You need only fear what they foretell. Avery. Okay, cool and ominous. As long as being eaten alive isn't on the table. Unless they're foretelling a zombie invasion or something with werewolves, in which case I guess I'm still stuck with being eaten alive. Max. Have you heard anything from Stella? Wow, I didn't read that well at all. Let me try that one more time. Have you heard anything from Stella? Avery. I haven't heard from her, though we don't text much, and I haven't checked with Winnie to see if she came in for an early breakfast or anything. But if you haven't heard from her, that doesn't sound great. Seeing her like that last night was awful. She's usually so unflappable. Max. Kanika and I are meeting up to look for Stella. Wanna come? Avery. Absolutely. I told Winnie I'd be coming in late today, so I've got time. I don't know how much time, though. From what I saw this morning, the diner is hopping. It's absolutely packed with miners. They must be using it as a home base for the strike. Okay, it's awkward, but, like, Max definitely likes Avery at this point and is going to work up all of his nerve and do the flirt option. Max, you were coming up to see me? That's sweet. Avery. What can I say? I'm someone who knows what they want. I would have walked up here at the crack of dawn, but I figured I should let you sleep at least a little longer. Though, not too much longer. I had to make sure you didn't go running off into trouble. Not without me. Alright, that's it. Max has exhausted his ability of speech for at least the rest of the walk to town. You and Avery start back down the path to town. It isn't long until you once again find yourself on the main street of Scarlet Hollow. Kanika. Max, you made it. And you picked up an Avery along the way. Hope you're both doing okay, like, emotionally? Avery. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Better after seeing Max. Wink. To be clear, Avery did not say wink. They just did wink. Kanika. That's good. I feel like I got crushed by a steamroller or something. Joints all out of whack, totally exhausted, and super foggy. Mom has been insisting I caught a cold, and I wasn't buying it, but as of this morning, I've come around. It's definitely something beyond exhaustion, even considering the ridiculously stressful week we've all had. But I'm not going to let that stop me from looking for Stella. Alright, nope. There is now 2 people. Max is done with words for a bit. Kanika. We might as well start by checking her house. Let's go. Max. Okay, let's go to Stella's house. Avery. Good place to start. Maybe she just slept in. Kanika. That's what I'm hoping. I would have gone already, but I was kind of nervous about doing anything by myself today, just in case I ran into yet another horror from beyond the veil or whatever. You make your way towards Stella's house. Kanika knocks anxiously on the door. It creaks open. Mystical. The interior is cold, and not just physically. There is an absence of joy and life that leaves only a chill behind, the ghost of an empty house, and the sobering dread that comes with the knowledge that your search won't end here. That's interesting. I think that's new since the update, because I don't remember that, and I've played through with most of the traits by now. So, anyway, there is a mystical option, so obviously we'd hate. Like, I think I've talked about this in past streams, but yes, so the flowchart of Max, and I've even already kind of established this in this game, but yeah, just because I like breaking it down. The Max speech flowchart currently looks like, is there a mystical or talk to animals option? If so, he will say that. Is it just him and Avery? If so, he will maybe verbalize more than usual. If not, is there an option to remain silent? If so, he will definitely take it. And when all of the above fails, whatever option seems the least, seems to take the least energy to say. So, there is a mystical option here. Max. I don't sense anything supernatural here, but I don't like the look of this. Avery. Might as well invite ourselves in, right? Enter Stella's house. You take a step forward and cross the threshold into Stella's house. The living room is almost exactly as you saw it the other day. Whatever happened to Stella, it doesn't look like it happened here. Avery. Doesn't look like there was a struggle or anything, unless it happened in another room, or maybe someone or something caught her off guard. Kanika. You didn't have to add that last part. I'm going to forget you said that and just be thankful that this doesn't look like a crime scene. Let's investigate the kitchen. Stella's kitchen is slightly messy. A couple cabinets are hanging open, and a loaf of bread sits on the counter by a used butter knife. You remain silent. Avery. Is Stella's kitchen usually this messy? Kanika. Is this what you'd call messy? Avery. I wasn't judging. There's nothing wrong with a little mess. Kanika. Silence. Avery. Or a lot of mess. Kanika. We're getting off track. To answer your question, no. Stella's house has always felt a little sterile to me. This feels a little too lived in, if that makes sense. Though maybe that's just because I've only been over when she was already expecting me. Avery. Maybe this is just a rare peek behind the curtain at the real Stella. Kanika. The real Stella should call her friends and let them know she's okay. Investigate Stella's room. You make your way down the hall to what you assume to be Stella's room. She's not here. Though it's a little untidy, it's the usual sort of untidiness that accumulates when someone doesn't often have guests in their bedroom. There aren't any signs of violence. And it's a very small... So first of all, let's take a look. But it's a very minor thing, but it really bugs me. Stella mentions, when you first meet her in chapter 1, that she has a bottle from Tetanus Lake that she kept on her dresser. Or something like that. So I would have expected it to be on one of these surfaces, like here or in here. But nary a old-timey bottle is to be found in this drawing. And it's a super tiny thing, and I'm sure that the artist just forgot. That's not a big deal, but it bothers me. I want Stella to have the Tetanus Lake bottle. But maybe it's the other possibility, I suppose, is that it's in a corner of the room that is not fully visible. Like this bookshelf. Clearly there is more space there, past the cute Gretchen plushie. Or, I guess, pug plushie, but it looks like Gretchen. Though it's a little... Right, okay, so... Yeah, let's just read this one more time. Though it's a little untidy, it's the usual sort of untidiness that accumulates when someone doesn't often have guests in their bedroom. There aren't any signs of violence. Kanika. I'd better not hear a single comment about this room being messy. Avery. I wasn't gonna say anything. You remain silent. Kanika. I don't think we're going to find anything in here. This is what Stella's room has been like for pretty much the entire time I've known her. There's more electronics, but that's pretty much it. Avery. It could use a few more houseplants. I'll put together some trimmings after we found her. Kanika. Aw, she still does those corkboard with string things. She loves putting the strings on there. I don't think they actually mean anything, but they're more for decoration anyway. You turn to leave Stella's house. Avery. Okay, so maybe she came home last night, maybe she didn't, but she's definitely missing. Kanika. I thought I was overreacting this morning. I hoped she would just be sleeping in. I can't believe she's actually missing. Avery. We'll find her. Kanika. We're going to the cops. I know they probably won't actually do anything, but we should see if we can get them to start looking for her before we go anywhere else. I'm gonna just pretend that the second half of this sentence isn't there, and that Max just says, yeah, let's go. The police station is exactly what you would expect from a town the size of Scarlet Hollow. It smells strongly of coffee and faintly of aged furniture and paper, and the general tidiness speaks of a department that doesn't get much of anything done. But you're also not alone here. You enter to find a worried Beau standing between you and the officer behind the desk. Beau. Big Betty wasn't just a pumpkin, Deputy Franklin, sir. She was gonna be a prize winner. Raising her was the last thing me and my daddy did together. She's important to our family. Deputy Franklin. The Scarlet Hollow police are spread pretty thin at the moment, young man. Any property disputes will have to wait, if indeed there is a dispute to be had. Are you sure it wasn't some kind of animal that took your vegetable? Beau. Sir, you know Mr. Tremaine thinks that land belongs to him. He probably thought Big Betty was his to take. He ain't coming to his door, so for all I know, he might be all the way to the state fair by now with our pumpkin. Ain't there something you can do about it? That is way too wordy. You remain silent. Kanika. Wait, before we go, we just wanted to let you know none of us have seen Stella since she ran off last night. We're pretty sure she's missing. Deputy Franklin. A missing person? That sounds serious. I should have you file a report. Deputy Franklin makes his way back to his desk, pulling a few forms before returning to the front and handing them to Kanika. Bo. She ran off? Miss Richmond can't be in her right mind going out there on her own after what happened to my daddy. I hope the police have better luck finding her than they did with him. I'll be praying for her, and I'll make sure Mama does too. Kanika hands the completed report back to Deputy Franklin. Deputy Franklin. Thank you, ma'am. I'll get this filed right away. Good luck out there. Bo. I hope Miss Richmond is alright and y'all find her soon. As you make your way back towards the door, the deputy calls out to you. Deputy Franklin. Best keep your... No, that's Bo's voice. Best keep your nose clean out there, Max. Try and stay out of trouble. Kanika. Well, at least we filed a report. Still, I guess finding Stella is going to be mostly up to us. Avery. We've got to find out what's been going on with Julius, too. He's been missing from the diner for a few days. It's weird. He usually comes in every single day. Kanika. Maybe he's preoccupied with ditchlings. Avery. I just hope he's okay. Kanika. One problem at a time. Avery. Yeah, where to next? I feel like we're right next to the diner, so we may as well check out the diner. Max. Let's check out the diner? Kanika. Good idea. Folks tend to congregate there. Maybe we'll run into someone who's seen Stella. Avery. Here's hoping Winnie doesn't try to rope me into clocking in early. The diner is busier than you've ever seen it, the small booths packed with miners. Kanika. What's going on? Avery. There's a strike up at the mines. They've made the diner their base of operations. Kanika. Huh, good for them. It's about time something like this happened. Winnie. When you asked... Sorry, no, Winnie definitely has a southern accent. When you asked for the morning off, I didn't think... Oh, wow, God. When you asked for the morning off, I didn't think you'd be showing up with friends. Avery. Sorry, Aunt Winnie. Stella's gone missing, and I've been helping these two track her down. You haven't seen her, have you? Winnie. Don't you apologize. And I can't say I have. I've been a little preoccupied. This is great for business. These fellas can have as much free coffee as they can drink if they keep piling in like this. Avery. Do you need any help? Winnie. No, Sal and I can handle this. One of your friends going missing is more important than a busy shift. The miners didn't even notice you entered the diner, and instead of speaking in hushed voices, argue with each other loudly enough for you to easily overhear. Harrison. I guess the shift schedules are pretty brutal, and I'd like more vacation days. I'd love to be able to see my family around the holidays. And better health benefits would be amazing, but what if she decides to fire all of us? Zax. You're only a year or so into the work, and trust me, the longer it goes on, the more it sucks the life out of you. I feel like I had a voice for Zax, but it's gone. Oh, hello, Box Puppy! I have no idea what I was doing for a voice for Zax. So I'll just make it up as I go along. Zax. At first you're just unhappy, but you figure you can weather it till you find something better. Paycheck's a paycheck. Next thing you know, you've lost years of your life to a company that doesn't give a solitary shit about you, that uses up every free second it can suck out of its workers and pays us just enough to survive, but not so much that we can ever save enough to get the hell out. Harrison. But we could get fired for this. I really need the paycheck. I can't get fired. And the company housing, that makes a big difference for me. Zax. Right, the company housing. How generous of Tabitha to put you up in a company-owned shack that ain't had maintenance done in decades, taking a big chunk right out of your paycheck that sure as shit ain't going towards property tax and upkeep alone. The company house, and that means that almost nobody in this whole damn town owns the place they live. Baker. We have numbers on our side, Harrison. After what happened up there the other night, damn near everyone is joining the picket line. Zax. She can't afford to lose us all. We have the power here so long as we're united. Nah, I still don't like my voice for Zax. I gotta work on it. Alright. Well, Max is bad at talking. And if nobody else is going to speak up and ask if anyone's seen Stella here, he's going to just assume that's because they're not too worried about it, or they don't think that it's useful to ask the minors, they being his friends, and is going to leave. So Max just is like, assumes, okay, we're done here, turns around to leave, and then Kanika's like, wait, hold on. Before we go, have any of y'all back there happened to see Stella today? She's been missing since last night. Harrison. The YouTuber? Baker. We ain't seen her. Harrison's voice drops to a barely audible mumble. Harrison. I hope she's okay. Kanika. I guess that's that. You turn and leave the diner, Avery and Kanika trailing close behind you. Kanika. Still no sign of Stella. Alright, let's just go down in order. Max. Let's check in with Oscar and Rosalina? They should be at the old Maxwell place. Tabitha gave them keys this morning. Kanika. The old Maxwell place? With Rosalina's leg the way it is and everything they've been through, now they have to stay in a broken down ruin that should have been bulldozed years ago? Avery. I guess it's good they have a roof over their heads, or what's left of a roof. Kanika. Your cousin is gonna get an earful the next time I see her. Kanika storms off down the road, and you and Avery follow close behind. You don't get far before the sound of growling and desperate hisses grab your attention. Oh no, Pixel! Pixel. Get away from me! I'm supposed to be an indoor cat! I'm not supposed to see things like you! You don't even talk, you freak! You turn to see a ditchling approach a cornered Pixel in an alley. He must have slipped out of the library with everyone else last night. The ditchling, distracted from its hunt by your arrival, cranes its neck to face you, its eyes settling on you with alien indifference. For an animal friend, I think Max will verbalize to yell, "Hey, quit it!" The words feel meek as they leave your mouth. Okay, so maybe it was a little bit more like, "Hey, quit it!" The words feel meek as they leave your mouth, and the ditchling, unaffected, turns back to its cornered prey. Avery. Is there a pipe or something lying around? Maybe we can scare it off. Kanika. There's no time! I'm grabbing Pixel! Before you can react, a small pack of dogs round the corner. Oh yeah, sorry, body horror, organs. Content warning! Body horror and visible organs, although it's of a ditchling which is not necessarily human, they look humanoid, so... I say just lingering on the page, on the screen with it, so I'll just keep going. Before you can react, a small pack of dogs round the corner. They pounce on the creature, pulling it from the wall, and then take turns biting and tearing at it until it's ripped to shreds. And if that's a thing that bothers you, just don't look too hard in the background of this. Their task complete, they saunter towards you. Kanika. What the? Avery. Isn't that Daisy? Kanika. And Scraps, and what looks like every other dog in town. All in some kind of dog gang. Pixel. I lived! Kanika. Pixel, you got out of the library! Oh, you poor cat, come here. Pixel cautiously walks towards your group, before clambering into your arms. He has a comfortable heft to him. Kanika. I see how it is. Everyone likes Max, even the cats. Daisy. We found him... I need to do an old lady voice for Daisy. How do I do this?
We found him last night, terrified and shaking in a bush outside the library.
Pixel. Psh, I wasn't that scared. I've even been helping out. Scraps. Mm-hmm. Little Pixel here has been volunteering as a scout. Daisy.
Don't worry, we were always right around the corner. Those creatures only like to strike out when they have the numbers, but they're hardly very bright.
Scraps. We made sure the little guy was taken care of till the humans were awake. Do y'all know where he's supposed to be? Oh, yeah, except for Fox Puppy. You're not wrong. Oh, I keep forgetting. I've been meaning to add... So, like, Johnny added a ticker tape of chat lines at the top of his screen, and I really like that. I'm gonna just verbalize my intent to look into that after this stream, so hopefully I will be less likely to forget. Anyway, I think Max is going to give them all a well-deserved good doggies. Max. Good doggies. Scraps. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Daisy.
You call me a good dog? Daisy, good dog?
Daisy's tail wags excitedly before she regains her composure.
Ahem. Sorry. I just love to hear it.
Let's see. Max. So, you're the Scraps I've heard so much about. Scraps. The one and only. This here is Daisy, and we've got a few other concerned locals with us as well. Just making sure the cats and dogs of the holler are well cared for, considering recent events. Daisy.
There are more of those things in the woods every day, popping out at the innocent bodies of what used to be dogs like us.
Scraps. He's done us a fine service, but you'd best make sure to keep Pixel inside from here on out. I've got a feeling things are only gonna get worse from here. Pixel.
Like to see you try. I was an indoor cat, but now that I got a taste of the outdoors, I will never be satisfied by the indoor life again.
But maybe I can wait till all those monsters are gone. Max. We'll make sure he gets back to his family. Scraps. We appreciate it, human. Word's been going around town that there was one among you who could properly understand us. It'll be good to have you on our side during these strange times.
Daisy. Odd things are going on around here. It's important for all us living things to watch out for each other.
Max. So, are y'all some kind of dog militia or something? Scraps. Yeah, I suppose you could say that. Daisy.
I'm sure you've met the town's illustrious leader by now.
Scraps. When the powers that be abandon you, it's up to the rest of us to band together and protect those who need protecting. Max. Gretchen really admires you, Scraps. Scraps. Oh, she flatters me so. I'm nothing special, just another dog. Daisy.
Don't be so modest, Scraps. You're the kind of dog other dogs listen to. That's more than can be said for that Jimmy. Thinks he's so high and mighty just because he can sit and stay the best, as if obedience is the best quality in a leader.
Speaking of Gretchen, Max, have any of you seen or smelled Gretchen? Daisy.
Is she missing? Oh dear, Scraps, you don't think...
Scraps. Gretchen's person would never let that happen to her. Wherever she is, I'm sure she's safe from those things. A dog like her doesn't get to be that age without a watchful human at her side. Max. Can you help us find her? You've got better noses for this sort of thing. Scraps. We'll do our best. We didn't intend to make any more trips out into the woods, but if it's for Gretchen, we'll take that risk. Daisy.
She's a well-liked dog in these parts. Been around longer than any of us. It'd be a blow to the community for her to fall victim to those monstrosities.
Let's see. Yeah, let's keep going. Max. Is there anything we humans can do about the ditchlings? Scraps. They ain't that hard to kill when there's a whole lot of us. They die easy enough, so long as you don't get caught unawares. Daisy.
That's why we're gathering all the local dogs. A big pack is a safe pack. Jimmy might not be doing anything to help, but that doesn't mean we can't take matters into our own hands.
Scraps. Now, Daisy, no need to start in about the mayor. He has his own priorities. So long as he doesn't get in our way, we don't need to go starting trouble. Wow, I don't like any of the things about that one can say about Jimmy here. I feel a little bad. Like, Max probably wouldn't say, yeah, screw Jimmy, but maybe would say the rest of this. Max. Yeah, heck with Jimmy. What a joke. One of you should have been mayor. Daisy.
Well, aren't you sweet?
Scraps. Some dogs just ain't fit to lead. It's not his fault the humans of this town flung him so far out of his depths. Max. Aren't your families worried about you? Off on your own like this? Scraps. We're country dogs. So long as we come home for dinner, most of us aren't missed too much. Daisy.
Speak for yourself. I know my family has been worried sick, but I can't let that get in the way of what's important. Besides, if I went home, they might tie me up and then I'd be a sitting duck. I mean dog.
Max. We'd best be on our way. Scraps. Same for us. For the first time that we know of, those things are out during the day, which means the pets of Scarlet Hollow need us now more than ever. Daisy.
Make sure the humans keep an extra careful watch on their furry companions.
The band of dogs scampers off. Kanika. You just had a full-on conversation with those dogs. It is so weird when you do that. Avery. Weird or cool? I wish I could have heard the other side of that conversation. It seems like there's a whole dog culture in this town I've been missing out on. Kanika. Knowing dogs are capable of carrying a full conversation is going to make being a veterinarian really weird. Avery. You'll just have to hire Max as a translator. You'd be the best vet in the country with someone like that on your staff. Pixel in tow, you and your companions continue on to the old Maxwell place. The old Maxwell place. It was clearly once a mid-century modern home, and undoubtedly quite stylish for the time, but it's been abandoned for unknown decades, and moss and vines choke its exterior, barely concealing cracked walls and dust-clouded glass. Talking to animals sounds awesome until you get to those times of the year. Fair. Doo-doo. Pixel. Hey, where the heck you taking me? This ain't my house. Before you can approach, the door opens and Oscar's head pokes out from the entryway. Oscar. Hello? Oh, sorry if I startled y'all. The walls here are worn down enough I could hear you coming from a block away. Kanika. Good morning, Oscar. Avery. Just thought we'd stop by to check in. Oscar. Thank goodness you found Pixel. Rosalina's been beside herself. Oscar's voice is tired. He's had a long night, and it shows. His graying face seemingly having aged in the hours since you last saw him. Oscar. Please, come in. Oof. Rough time, buddy. And now we get to see Dr. Kelly checking in on Rosalina at the old Maxwell place. Which I actually am not sure that I... Oh, Fox Puppy, I see what you're saying. Cicadas. Ah, yes. That would be an awkward time to have the ability to understand animals. Alright. Dr. Kelly. You're doing really great, Rosalina. Not a lot of kids your age can take shots that well. You're being so brave. Rosalina. You don't have to talk to me like I'm 5. Dr. Kelly. But you are brave. Alexis. You really are, Rosalina. You're, like, so badass. Dr. Kelly. Alexis is right. This is more than most people have to deal with in their whole lives. And here you are taking it like a champ. Before Dr. Kelly can continue, Pixel jumps from your arms, bounding across the room and leaping onto Rosalina's chest. Oh, she looks so happy to have Pixel back. And honestly, Pixel also has a cute little smile. Rosalina.
Pixel, I've been so worried about you.
Oscar. I told you he'd turn up. Dr. Kelly's almost gentle bedside manner vanishes as she turns and glares at you. That's a face. Dr. Kelly. I see we have visitors. Alright, this is way too much talking. Max will do will make one politeness statement, which is out of worry for Rosalina, and say, alright, so Max is gonna say, how are you doing, Rosalina? Rosalina. Tired. My leg hurts a lot. But the medicine is helping. It's not so bad now. Dr. Kelly. And what are you not going to do today? Rosalina. Walk around. Alexis. Sorry, Dr. Kelly. I should have been better at stopping her. Oscar. I take full responsibility. As her father, I should have... Dr. Kelly. No need for anyone to step in and take the blame for anything. It's the hospital's fault for sending her home at all. It's gross negligence, if you ask me. But give it time, and then you can do all the running around you want, alright, Rosalina? You just have to make sure you give that leg of yours a chance to heal up a bit first. You don't want to pop any stitches. Oof, yep, alright, there's way too much talking here. Max is going to remain silent. Avery. What's your plan from here? Gonna stay and fix the place up? Kanika. I don't think fixing this place is even possible. It's got a cool vibe, sure, but it's also rotting from the inside out. Oscar. We don't plan on staying here for long. I've run from my problems long enough. One way or another, I'm going to get the library back. Dr. Kelly. I'd best be on my way. Goodbye, Rosalina. Make sure you stay put and keep Pixel company, okay? Rosalina.
I will. Bye, Dr. Kelly.
Oscar. Thanks again for doing this. I can't express how much. Dr. Kelly. It's nothing. I'll call later today to see how she's doing. Good luck to the both of you. Dr. Kelly brusquely pushes past you and leaves. Kanika. Oscar, before we get sidetracked, we're not just here to talk about monsters and what happened in the library. Oscar. Oh? Kanika. Stella's been missing since last night. Oscar. Oh. Kanika. You haven't seen her, right? Oscar. Not since last night. Kanika. Now I'm really starting to worry. It sounds like no one in town has seen her. Avery. That doesn't mean something bad happened. Kanika. But it doesn't exactly sound like it's all sunshine and roses for her either. Oscar. I'm sure she'll be okay, but you should probably get back to looking for her soon. Before you go, though, there is something I wanted to get your thoughts on. Let's step outside. Oscar ushers you to the street. Avery. What's up? Is everything okay? Oscar. Yes, or at least as okay as it can be, considering everything that's happened. But I don't exactly feel safe. Strange things are going on in Scarlet Hollow, and I'm tired of running from them. I want to get our house back. You've all been looking into the town's history, correct? I overheard your discussion in the library the other day. Have you been able to find anything that might explain what's going on? Kanika. I don't think we have too much to go on. I can't help but feel like there must have been some kind of inciting event since everything started getting weird seemingly overnight, but I have no idea where to start, really. Avery stares at you. Avery. I mean, it's obvious, right? things only started happening once Max got here. Kanika. You're not wrong. Avery. Exactly. If there's a catalyst for all this, why wouldn't it be a lost Scarlet finally coming home to Scarlet Hollow? Oscar. If I may, Max getting into town isn't the only major event that's happened lately. Pearland died over a week ago, and those creatures in the woods were already reproducing by the time he arrived. Not to mention, I started seeing things in our house before Pearland passed, I think. I never thought to make a note of exactly when the spirit made itself known.
Oh, hello! Sorry, I missed your, Yes, Becca loves games. Nice to meet you. Hello. Or thanks for chatting. I also love this game. The two traits that my character has are talk to animals and mystical. And again, I'm so sorry. I have no idea how late I am responding to your chat. And yes, so my flowchart for this character, I call him Silent Max. And he's not good at talking to people, but he's very good at talking to animals. So he's totally comfortable around animals. And so he feels an obligation to share his mystical insights with the world because he knows most people don't have that insight. And he also likes to share, is totally comfortable talking to animals and likes to share the things they say with other people because he also knows other people don't usually understand animals. The rest of the time, he stays silent because he's very awkward about talking to people. Not 100% though. I've made a few exceptions for roleplay reasons, like I'm pursuing an Avery romance path, so I've decided that Max, when it's just Max and Avery, has gotten a little more comfortable talking to Avery. But yeah, for the most part, with a few exceptions here and there, when in doubt, Max will not say a word. It's just there are so many times where you're given the option to remain silent. I thought it would be funny to do a run where the main character, chooses that option most of the time. But I do make exception for the trait, the trait-based dialogue options because, those are... I have 4 different runs of this game. I finished, right about, soon after Chapter 4 first came out, I finished, I did a run of a character who was hot, powerful build, and non-binary, so a thembo rather than a himbo, but the himbo energy was there, and I had a lot of fun with that one. And so this character is talk to animals mystic and usually remains silent. And I have 2 other runs planned, and one of them is I call the Good Cousin run because my main goal is going to be being absolute besties with Tabitha, and I'm planning to do Keen Eye and Street Smarts for that one. And then the final run is the Karen run, which I call that because the goal is for the character, and actually I say it's the final run, but it might actually be that I do that one next so that I can end on the happier Good Cousin run, because it's going to be somewhat difficult, but I really just want to do a live stream playthrough of what it looks like when you're mean to everyone. So the idea is that the character is a very, the classic Karen. Anyway, and I will be trying to keep a better eye on chat. So thanks for dropping in. Let's see. Alright, so Oscar says, not to mention, I started seeing things in our house before Pearland passed, I think. I never thought to make a note of exactly when the spirit made itself known. Whatever the cause of this is, there must be some way to put this genie back in the bottle. I'm going to do my best to find out if there have ever been any similar events, and whether there's anything special about Scarlet Hollow that might explain what's going on. The town archives are, unfortunately, in the library. Rosalina has been pestering me to make some sort of digital backup for months, but I never got around to it. So, online sources it is. We'll fill you in on what little we know. Oh wait, sorry, that was not Oscar. Haha, switching. Kanika. We'll fill you in on what little we know, so you at least have some place to start. Oh gosh, there are no mystical options, but I think Max is going to work up the nerve to at least be a little bit helpful and mention the stone seals. Max, we've been finding these
weird stone seals. There was one in the mines and another one in your basement. There might be more? Oscar. Seals? That's incredibly occulty. To think there was something like that under my house all this time. And to think someone must have put it there. But who? This gives me quite a few threads to follow. Thank you, Max. And Max is just going to be nodding like, haha, I can be helpful too. It was worth wording out loud because it was worth being verbal because people are proud of me. What? I'm definitely not foisting some of my own fear of strangers qualities onto Max. I mean, that's funny to say that as a streamer, right, who's totally comfortable with talking to any random person who comes into my chat. But in real life, I am very awkward around people I don't know, and I am definitely channeling some of that into this character. Kanika. Max, didn't you say you felt something similar to the mind seal outside the clinic yesterday? I hope that doesn't mean something weird is about to happen there, too. Avery. Uh-oh. Losing the library is already a blow, but losing the only doctor's office in town seems like it would be bad. Oscar. Here's hoping we sort things out before that becomes an issue. Okay, this is not a talk to animals option, but it clearly should be, and because Max is deeply concerned about animals, he will also say this. Max. Make sure Pixel stays inside, or he might get grabbed by ditchlings. Oscar. The ditchlings are those things from the woods, right? With those faces? Avery. Yeah, the anguished doughboys. I kinda like them. It's like a hidden object game out there today with all the weird little faces peering out of the bushes. Speaking of which, you know what? It's probably because there are people blocking the trees and bushes and stuff, but right now I actually don't see any ditchlings. That could also mean the Maxwell house is not likely to be the site of any horrible events, so that's promising. Kanika. Like them? Are we talking about the same creatures that have been laying eggs in the local wildlife? Avery. I don't want to get friendly with them or anything. I just think they're kind of interesting. Kanika. To each their own. Sorry. Yeah, that was. I think some dogs kept him safe? Like, a gang of dogs. I know it sounds ridiculous, but we saw it with our own eyes. Oscar. A gang of dogs? I suppose stranger things have happened. This very week, in fact. But we'll make sure he stays safe. You remain silent. Kanika. Okay, we should probably get back to looking for Stella. Keep us posted, okay? Oscar. I will. We're going to get the library back, and we're going to find out how to fix whatever's wrong with this town. Avery. See you around, Oscar. Kanika. So that's Oscar. Any other ideas? I'm not sure Max would suggest the mines. Like, maybe just for the sake of being thorough. However, he has been meaning to talk to the priest about talk to animals, and might be like, and I could totally see him being like, well, if I suggest we go to the church to look for Stella, that'll also be a good chance to talk to the pastor. Unfortunately, with which to do this, I must words. Max. We should check out the church. Kanika. The church? Why? Avery. I see what you're thinking. Stella was confronted with evidence of the afterlife, so she might try getting into all that religious stuff. It's worth checking out. Kanika. I think we'd be barking up the wrong tree, but I guess you're right. There's no point in not being thorough. Avery. I wouldn't mind stocking up on some holy water while we're there, too. Seems like a good idea to cover all our bases at this point. Kanika. I don't think Baptists do the holy water thing, but I'm sure Pastor Daniel would pretend to bless some water if it meant keeping us around a little longer. Avery. That's good enough for me. Kanika. Let's not linger, though. I don't want him thinking we're possible converts. Man, there's so many conversations today where Max is going to be verbal. Like, I mean, I guess because just the nature of the first half of Chapter 4, but like, man, and am I not going to be... man, is he going to be quiet for most of the rest of the day. Kanika leads the way, taking you up the gradual slope towards the church. Avery. You know, I've lived here for a few years now, and I've never actually been to the church. Kanika. That's probably for a good reason. Where is that weirdo? Pastor Daniel. My, 4 visitors at once on a Thursday? This is unprecedented. Kanika. But there are only 3 of us. Oh no, were we followed by a ditchling? Were we followed by Wayne? I mean, I'm sure we were followed by Wayne, Kanika. He is following my character everywhere, but that's not who Pastor Daniel's talking about. Zane. Sup, old people? Kanika. Oh, it's just Zane. What are you doing here? Zane. All the glimpses of death I've had in the past 2 days have forced me into the midst of an existential crisis, my dudes. I wanted to see if faith held any answers for me. Alas, I have not yet found the solace I seek. Pastor Daniel. Give it time, Zane. It sometimes takes a while for the Lord to work his way into your heart. But when he does, you won't regret letting him in. Be sure to look over those pamphlets I gave you, and of course, I'm always here if you need to talk. Zane. Sure thing, Pastor D. Peace, y'all. Kanika. Anyway, we're looking for Stella. She wandered off last night, and no one has seen her since. We're starting to get pretty worried. We hoped maybe you or Janie had seen her? Pastor Daniel. I can't speak for Janie, but I'm afraid I've seen neither hide nor hair of Stella. If you'd like to talk to my wife, she's just over by the alpacas. Though, Max, I was hoping we might be able to talk in private. And Max is going to agree to this largely because he wants to talk to the pastor, but I actually kind of want to see what happens if you remain silent here. You say nothing. Yeah, that feels right. Okay. So, in fact, Pastor Daniel's like, I was hoping to talk to Max, and Max is just like, silent. Pastor Daniel. I won't bite or anything, I promise, and we can talk right here. We can talk here right in the open. Kanika. Oh yes, that means I can agree to talk to Pastor Daniel without talking. Okay, I know this is really silly, but I'm gonna just load from there to, like, play it through more normally. Right, so Pastor Daniel encourages them to go talk to Janie and then says, though, Max, I was hoping we might be able to talk in private. You say nothing. Pastor Daniel. I won't bite or anything, I promise. And we can talk here right in the open. Kanika. I guess we'll leave you to it while we check in with Janie. Avery. See you in a minute. Your friends head off towards Janie and the alpacas, leaving you alone with the nervous pastor. Pastor Daniel. I'm so glad you came. I've never met anyone else who could hear them. You have no idea how long I thought I must have had some kind of insanity. I even thought at one point that it must have been the Lord himself, talking to me through them. But they never had anything very insightful to say, so I was disavowed of that pretty early on. Alright, so I don't think Max would react like this at all. Max is very sure he's actually talking to animals, so he would never doubt it. He doesn't consider it a curse, so he'd never say that. However, absolutely will be excited to have someone to gossip about the town animals with. Max. Have you met Frou Frou, Gretchen, Pixel? Pastor Daniel. Of course I have, but I learned early on in life not to let on that I have this gift, at least while other humans are around, so I haven't spoken with any of them. Which also explains why the dogs don't know that there are 2 humans who can talk to them. Pastor Daniel. Though I get the feeling Frou-Frou wouldn't talk to me even if she knew I could understand her. I mean, that's probably true, Pastor Daniel. Pastor Daniel. I've tried to befriend the alpaca when no one else is around. Emphasis on tried. They're surprisingly cliquey. Besides that, I try to maintain a low profile, only chatting with the wildlife when I'm sure no one is looking. Alright, I think the simplest... Nah, you know what? I think Max has done a lot of talking today and is like, ah yes, we have had our conversation. You remain silent. Pastor Daniel. I have my suspicions that Tulip might have inherited the gift. There have been some particularly nasty rats in the church lately, and she's said some things that have led me to believe she might be able to understand them. He's interrupted by the sounds of a snapping twig and a high-pitched giggle, partly muffled by the underbrush on the edge of the property. Pastor Daniel. Tulip, come out of there! You know you're not supposed to play in the woods! Tulip glances back into the woods, quiet as she hesitates. Pastor Daniel. Tulip, are you going to be good, or are we going to skip story time tonight? Tulip.
I'll be good. You don't have to skip story time. I won't go into the woods. I promise.
Pastor Daniel. I know you won't, Tulip, because you know it's too dangerous for little girls in there. Why don't you go help Mama with the alpacas? It's just about time they got fed. You can give them hay. Tulip smiles broadly, seeming excited by the prospect, and hurries off. Pastor Daniel. Sorry I had to have a firm parenting moment just then. She's been trying to run off into those woods a lot lately, and it's really dangerous, even for adults. There's this massive trash dump not too far past the trees, but it must be at least 50 years old, so it's all grown over and looks like it's part of the landscape. But if you accidentally walk on it, you might find yourself falling into a hip-deep mound of rusty cans and broken glass. Actually, wait, no. Sorry. Max, it's related to animals. Max does actually want to hear more about the church rats. Max, what were you saying about the church rats? Pastor Daniel. Ah, yes, the rats. So, you and I are used to the sort of chatter we hear from wildlife. It's usually nothing that needs to be paid attention to. But these rats, there's something so sinister about them, and they must be huge, judging by the sound of them scurrying around in there. Tulip had never shown evidence of the ability before. She's never responded to the alpacas or engaged in conversations with birds. In retrospect, she could have been hiding it, the way I did growing up. Because I know she's been talking to the rats. She calls them her friends, has been drawing all these pictures of them, really ghastly things. I've tried to bring it up with her, but she just gets this little smile and doesn't say a word, like it's her fun little secret. It's all innocent enough in the grand scheme of things, but I'm pretty sure they also live out in that trash heap, and ever since she started talking about her friends, she's been trying to sneak out there. I'm concerned she's going to get hurt or catch some sort of disease. Alright. Important question. Max, what have they been saying? Pastor Daniel. They like to try to goad me into crying or becoming depressed. They watch me through unseen holes and make fun of me and try to figure out how to press my buttons. It's annoying, but easy enough to block out, especially when I'm praying. I don't think they're a good influence on Tulip, though. She's gotten quiet and secretive ever since she started talking to them. I'd hate to think what they say to her when I'm not around to hear. Yeah, Max's follow-up question. Max, are you sure they're rats? Pastor Daniel. I think so. The pastor shifts uncomfortably for a moment. Pastor Daniel. I hope so. Max. Have you actually seen them? Pastor Daniel.
No, but I don't need to. I lived in a dorm that had rats once. You never see them, but the church has all the signs of an infestation, and there's no mistaking the sound of little creatures stampeding through the walls.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy, I do not think that whatever you've got in the church are rats. I don't know what they are yet. We'll find out in a future chapter, but, buddy, they ain't rats. Anyway, Pastor Daniel.
I've left out some humane rat traps, but they're too smart for them. All it's done is waste peanut butter. And I caught a possum in one, poor thing. Possums are never very bright, but at least he got a nice big scoop of peanut butter out of the ordeal. Yeah, I think Max is going, as a fellow animal speaker, is going to offer to help. Max, is there anything I can do to help? Maybe I could try talking to them? Pastor Daniel, that would be lovely. I'd certainly appreciate a helping hand here. I don't want to be too much of a bother, and you should probably finish looking for your missing friend first, but I'll be around. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Kanika and Avery walking back to the two of you. They must have finished talking to Janie. Kanika, Janie says she hasn't seen Stella either, so we'd better get going. Avery, thanks for suggesting we head up here, Max. We got to feed the alpacas. They were so cute and soft. It was awesome. And Janie says she'll come by the diner with cookies for the miners, and a few extra for me, of course. Kanika, she's so nice. She even offered to bring me some since I've been feeling under the weather. I hope your talk with the pastor went well? Pastor Daniel, yes, we had a great conversation. I appreciate you all stopping by, even if it wasn't under the best circumstances. I'll let y'all be on your way. And I hope Stella turns up soon. I'll put in some good prayers with the big man for her. Kanika, alright, thanks. See ya. Kanika and Avery start back down the path to town, and you follow. Avery, so, what was that about? He seemed pretty insistent on talking to you alone. Kanika, yeah, he didn't say anything weird, did he? You remain silent. Yeah, if it had been just... I feel like if it had been just Avery, Max would have said something more, but... Kanika and Avery is just too much, and he has done too much talking. That was a lot of conversing with a person he didn't know very well, and he is just like... shrug. Kanika, if you don't want to tell us, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that whatever he said to you wasn't bad weird. Let's just stay focused on finding Stella. Where to next? Well, if we're being thorough... Max, we should go to the mines. Kanika, I guess there's a decent chance Stella went to find your cousin. I can't say I get it, but it's definitely something she would do. Avery, you don't see it? Oh, come on. The two of them have such a dynamic, you know? Classic dog and cat situation. Kanika, come on, I'll drive us. You follow Kanika to her van. It isn't long before you find yourselves outside the Scarlet Mines. A wall of bodies, picket signs, and megaphones in hand forms a human barricade around the entrance to the Scarlet Mines. Kanika, I hope it's not weird to talk to them while they're in the middle of all this. Avery, don't worry, I know these guys. Most of them are in the diner at least a couple days a week. They'll be chill. Kanika, will they be chill with talking to Tabitha's cousin, though? Davis, well, if it isn't the boss's cousin. You might have had us fooled the other day, but word gets around fast. Oh no, there's not a remain silent option. I guess Max feels pressured to say something in response. The obvious thing to say is... Have any of you seen Stella? She's missing. Davis, the YouTuber? She's... Smith. She's the one on all the banned from property posters, right? We haven't seen her, and we've been out here all day, so we'd know if she came by.
Davis. We'll make sure to keep an eye out. Johnson. Can't say we'll be much help, though. We'll just be standing around here for the foreseeable future. Oh, there are just so... Yeah, okay. The only thing is, just because none of them have seen Stella doesn't mean she couldn't have snuck into the... Couldn't have snuck in. So... Max. I need to talk to Tabitha. Davis. So, you're saying you want to cross a picket line? Actually, call Tabitha. I think Max is just going to be sitting here like, oh no, okay, I want to talk to Tabitha, but I didn't mean for it to be a whole strike thingy, so, what do I do? If they're not going to peaceably let me through, I'm not going to push my way through, because that is so much awkward. You know what might be less awkward? Calling Tabitha and asking if she has seen Stella over the phone. You pull out your phone and dial your cousin. Tabitha. Ugh, hello. What is it? You're not about to get eaten by the Babadook or something weird like that, right? Oh, man. The explore options are really funny. I don't think I've ever done this, actually, been outside the mine and called Tabitha. Because I am loving this lie. I mean, Max will never say this, but it's so funny. Yes, I'm in grave danger. A skunk ape is about to eat me. But yeah, no, Max is called... Yeah, right, Artemisia, but, like, I agree. I don't think that there would actually be anything wrong with him walking past the striking miners just to go talk to his cousin. If anything, he'd be distracting her from generating revenue. But Max is not the bold sort, and he's in fact very, very bad at talking to people, and would feel even more awkward. Certainly isn't going to just shove past them, doesn't want to have that conversation with them, doesn't want to ask his friends for help because that is also really awkward and stuff, which is why he was just like, I will call Tabitha, because all we really need is to ask her if she has seen Stella. So he has successfully made the phone call and, like, is not going to bother with any of this other conversation because that is too much words, and is just going to ask the question he made the phone call for. Max. Stella is missing. Have you seen her? Tabitha. She's missing? Tabitha is quiet for a moment. Tabitha. I'm sure she'll turn up, but I'll see if I can get a hold of her. Don't think looking for my missing acquaintance gives you a pass to do anything dangerous. You are forbidden from doing risky things, even for what you might think is a good reason. I'm hanging up now. Bye. She hangs up the phone. Avery. That doesn't sound like she knows where Stella is. Kanika. Come on, let's go. We can figure out our next move when we get back to town. I definitely feel like Max, this has been a lot of social. This is the most social Max has been in Scarlet Hollow this whole week so far. So remaining silent is going to be the way of the rest of the... Or rather, I am hoping that there will be more things that I can remain silent for from here on out, because poor Max. Kanika. Where to next? As you consider your next steps, you remember your appointment with Sybil. She seemed to be confident last night that Stella would be okay. Maybe she'll be able to help you find her. Talk to animals. And she'd never disparaged your gift. Perhaps she's one of the few people in town who can truly understand you. Oh, I don't like that. Alright, straight up spoiler time for anyone who has not played or watched any runs of Chapter 4 in which this has been made clear. Somehow Sybil is able to fuck with people's minds. And, to the point that your special skills will actually lie to you. Like, there is definitely one time I had Keen Eye and Mystic, and I went in to the place and had like a keen eye response and then a mystic follow-up being like, wait, that's not right, is it? And so I don't trust this talk to animals vibe. I get Sybil vibes all over this one, and I do not think it is a natural thought. So just throwing that out there as a theory, but there's nothing I can do to prove it one way or the other. Mystical. Yeah, okay, this one is probably real, though. You have to see her. She's the thread tying everything together. But at the back of your mind, you can't help but feel as if there is more than just fate drawing you to the tea room. Yep, Mystical's got it. She is compelling you to come see her in the tea room. Max, we should talk to your mom. I'm supposed to have tea with her today. Kanika, my mom wanted to talk to you? She's probably going to give you some rocks or bundles of herbs for protection or something. We can humor her. Avery, let's do it. Alright, this also feels like a great moment to take a quick break. I will be back in just a couple minutes. Although, actually, I don't like that there's no background sound. So, I have a plan. We are going to save the game on one of these quick spots, perhaps. And then I am going to bring it back to the main menu so that there's nice sound while I be right back. Yes, please. Alright, and now I shall be right back. I return. Alright, let's load back from that save. So, I was thinking about it, and it's like, so I have, my flowchart of times where Max will talk and have worked out and it has worked out such that he has just been way chattier than usual on this particular chapter. It's mostly all fallen reasonably under mystical or talk to animals peripherals, or, talking directly with Avery, but it's still just a lot of talking that Max... It doesn't feel quite right for Max to be this verbal. But it also got me thinking, I'm not going to stream this or probably record it or anything, but I might do my own run later where I actually don't have any exceptions and I just be as absolutely nonverbal as possible to be in the game, and just see what that looks like. Because that's only half what I'm doing for Max, because there's plenty of exceptions, obviously, by the fact that I've had him being, less chatty than any of my other characters, but still. Anyway, see also that it's been 2 hours and I'm only about halfway through, but we'll see if I can allow him more non-verbalness for the rest of this chapter. Or rather, lack of verbalizing. Because being nonverbal is a whole other thing, which I also am more familiar with than ideal, but also, sorry, sometimes I have this poppet, right? So if you hear loud sounds like that, it's probably just I couldn't resist playing with a poppet. Alright. Actually, back to game now. The bells of the general store chime welcomingly as the three of you enter. Sybil. Kanika, there you are. You were supposed to stay in bed today, remember? And hello, you two. Hope you're both recovered from last night's fiasco. Kanika. Sorry, Mom. It's just that Stella's missing and Sybil. Stella can take care of herself, unlike you. You need bed rest and lots of fluids. You don't need to go running around town spreading that cold of yours. Speaking of Sybil being hella sus, I absolutely do not believe under any circumstances that Kanika actually has a cold. I think her mother is whammying her to... Now, it may be for good reasons. Like, I'm willing to believe that Sybil is doing it because she doesn't want Kanika to get too deeply wrapped up in the supernatural horrors happening around town because she could get hurt. But as Brooklyn Nine-Nine puts it, cool motive, still murder. I mean, not literally murder, but like, cool motive, still manipulation. Anyway, so Sybil continues. Go on, get up to bed. I'll be up in a minute with more tea. Kanika. I thought you had some kind of important thing to talk to Max about. I'm really feeling okay. I want to hear what you wanted to say to him. Sybil. I'll just be doing a tea reading. Haven't those always bored you to tears? Kanika. Silence. Okay, you're right. I'm not feeling well. I should really lie down. Bye, Max. Kanika turns and heads towards the stairs without saying another word. Mystical. Something isn't right here, but it's hard to put it into words or pin it down into thoughts. Because Sybil is messing with your perceptions. But yeah, because Sybil is all 100% the player's additions, but I like that as with Mystical, you can kind of sense that something's not right here, because whatever Sybil is doing is definitely using mystical forces. Sybil. And I'm so sorry to be a bad host, Avery, but I was hoping Max and I could do our reading in private. I'm sure Winnie needs help at the diner. Avery. Aw, you're right. I've totally left her on her own today. Fine by me. I wouldn't want to mess with your tea vibes. I'm sure those leaves are very particular. Oh, but before I go, I did want to ask, are you a witch? Sybil. As flattered as I am that you think I'm magical, I'm just an old lady who likes tea and has a few unusual hobbies. Avery. Look, I'm just saying, doing stuff like reading tea leaves is pretty witchy as far as I'm concerned, but I won't push it. Though, just so you know, if you are a witch, you can totally tell us. We'd be cool about it. I'll leave y'all to your not supernatural private tea leaf reading. We'll catch up tomorrow, Max. Avery places a hand on your shoulder. I'll miss you, but duty calls. Yay. I'll miss you. I think that bit is also new as of the newest update. Because I don't remember. There's definitely at least one other off-stream run I'm doing where I'm romancing Avery, and I don't remember getting that sweet parting shoulder. That was good. Yes, good. Alright. They make their way out of the general store, disappearing down the street in the direction of the diner. Sybil. Shall we? Sybil motions towards the tea room. Follow her into the tea room. Sybil. Please, have a seat. I'll bring you a fresh cup. You take a seat at the small table at the edge of the room. It's dark here, only a sliver of sunlight able to filter through the heavy curtains, supplemented by the bright grow lights over the plants in the corner. Sybil joins you at the table and places a cup in front of you. It smells light and citrusy with an undercurrent of decaying earth. It's the same tea you sampled with Avery at the diner on Tuesday. Sybil. I'll be able to do a reading once you're done. Until then, how about we just chat? Alright, I don't know. I am, out of character, super suspicious of her tea. I'm pretty sure that whatever she's doing is using that tea. But now, with my Thembo character, they were not concerned, they were not even a little bit suspicious of Sybil because that is just not in their nature. Yeah, Artemisia, that's been my suspicion, and it's also, like, I think the common fan theory is it's something to do with the tea. However, I keep having this moment where I'm, like, trying to figure out what my character would do, since all of my runs are kind of roleplay runs. So, like, my Thembo had absolutely no suspicions, chugged the tea, no question. And I know for sure with my good cousin run, I'm going to be the total opposite and not trust Sybil even a little. And also Karen run, Karen doesn't like or trust anyone, so we'll see. But I think Max... The thing is, Max has Mystical, and Mystical is kind of saying, hey, something's not quite right here. So I think Max is going to be not full-on, like, oh hell no suspicious, but a little suspicious. So at least for as long as he can, he's going to avoid the tea and just talk. Oh, dang it, Artemisia, you make a really good point. Sipping the tea means not having to talk, because of course Max doesn't actually want to talk. You know what? I just went through all of that, but I think Max would have... He's a little suspicious of Sybil, but would have absolutely no in-character reason to suspect the tea itself. And he doesn't want to talk. And the easiest way to not talk, Artemisia makes a very good point, is to just drink your drink. Not like I've ever done that myself at parties and stuff. It's great. It's like if I just am not like quite in the mood to talk, I just keep, you just have a drink. And then it's like, oh, I can't talk while drinking. As evidenced by all of my visual novel playthroughs where I try to read and then have to break to take a sip of water. So yeah, rip. Max is gonna just chug his tea. You take the tea, sipping it delicately. The citrus smell is fleeting, quickly replaced with the earthiness at its core, like you've taken a mouthful of dirt. But the aftertaste combines the two flavors into something soothing and medicinal, and you find yourself feeling more comfortable, your muscles relaxing for the first time in days. Mystical. It's soothing beyond what you would expect out of ordinary tea. There must be something magical at work with this in this blend. Okay, that's definitely new since the update. The update has just made the subtext text, the tea is magic. I mean, Artemisia, the wings is a good, semi-equivalent, but also, fun fact, Artemisia, you can use, if you're on a phone, or even if you just find, like, a Unicode list and do copy-pasting, Twitch absolutely supports standard emojis. Like, it's not obvious, but I have used them before, and so you can use a like, standard emoji halo. There's a word for the standard emojis, but yeah, no, it's definitely something where, like, it's a pain if you're on a computer, because then you have to go look up, like, the list to copy-paste from, but on phones, I will actually fairly often do emojis with the keyboard. Alright, the tea is gone before you know it, the small cup empty save for what's left of rehydrated leaves coating the bottom. Sybil. Oh good, glad you found the tea palatable enough to drink. It should do you some good. It's one of my more medicinal blends. Now, on to business. Sybil takes the cup from you, staring thoughtfully down at the sludge. Sybil. Oh dear, this doesn't bode well. You've got just about every warning that can fit at... Why am I doing British accent for her? It's not my intent. I'm trying to do like a little bit of an old lady tilt, but I've never intended for her to actually be British. You've got just about every warning that can fit in the bottom of a cup. Cross, kettle, hourglass. All of these mean death, misery, difficulty, and the hourglass ties it all together with a definite urgency. It's fair to assume that all of this has to do with whatever brought the ditchlings. Something is coming, and whether any of us can stop it, I'm not sure. But we may, at the very least, be able to figure out what it is. And there's a central figure here, a cat, an enemy lurking in plain sight. Alright, Max feels slightly fortified by the weirdly magical tea, and therefore is slightly more able to verbalize, and also is mystical and really wants to see, and also I always make exceptions for the mystical things. I just remembered. Max. I'd like to see. Sybil. I'm sure it wouldn't make much sense to most people. It'll probably just look like a confusing mess of old leaves, but feel free to take a look. You take the cup, staring down into it. It's just leaves. There's no pattern. Nothing swimming together in the dregs of your tea to give you any warnings or premonitions. And I would like to remind everyone that, yes, Artemisia, Halo emoji. Anyway, sorry. I would like to remind everyone that this was a mystical option. My character has only asked to see the bottom of the tea, to see the tea leaves, because he should also be able to recognize signs importance in tea leaves. So, implication is, she might just be making this shit up. So, yes, it's just leaves. There's no pattern. Nothing swimming together in the dregs of your tea to give you any warnings or premonitions. After a long moment, Sybil takes the cup back from you. Sybil. I hope that settles your curiosity. Don't worry if you couldn't make sense of it. It takes years to learn this sort of thing, even for someone with your propensities. She winks conspiratorially. Oh, this top option is 100. Wait. Whose truck? Sorry. There must be a new cat somewhere in the updates. I'm gonna have to go play the game on my own because, like, before this was just, oh, the cat's gotta be Pixel or maybe Frou Frou. Those are the two cats I know. But now there's a new one. Sorry, because, you know, if you go back and watch my previous streams with Quinn, my Thembo, they, being, you know, a sweet dumbass, absolutely said, oh, the cat must be one of the cats I know. So you can see the difference where they're like, before it was just Pixel and Frou Frou, and I'm just like, but who is Truck? Who is Truck? I've never met Truck, the cat. Oh, alright. Anyway, don't mind me. Gonna have to play back through from the beginning after this stream so I can learn who Truck is. And I probably was gonna do that anyway because I want to see the updates, so. Alrighty. That said, Max has no opinion on this and doesn't actually want to verbalize, but apparently that is not an option. So, is going to just try, how do I know you're not the cat? That's ridiculous. Sybil is helping you. And if she was the cat, why would she warn you about herself? Pick someone else. Mystical. That isn't you, though, is it? Ignore it and speak your mind. Amazing. Oh my gosh, yeah, she just tried to whammy you into not asking if she might be the cat. But if you're mystical enough, this is new for the update because this, just, again, I played through this scene quite a few times with quite a few different sets of skills. Yeah, because if you drink the tea, normally you just can't accuse her. Like, literally you are unable to. But apparently if you're mystical enough, you can recognize that it's not you who can't accuse her. It's her not letting you accuse her, and you can overcome it with your own mysticality. I am very convinced that the chapter where mystical will give you the best option at the final chapter, you know, the crux choice at the end of the chapter is going to be something against Sybil. I don't know, like, what, but it's going to be something where Sybil is going to try, like, my theory is that Sybil is going to try to whammy you, and you're only going to be able to avoid it with mystical, otherwise you will get two options that you don't like, as you do with every choice. So, that's my theory, but it will be a very long time before we find out if that one holds up, because Chapter 5 is a ways out. Anyway, that said, Max has pushed through the you don't want to accuse her of being the cat nonsense to actually ask. Max, how do I know you're not the cat? Sybil, I suppose you don't, though I'd think the cat wouldn't exactly warn you about itself. Still, you can't rule anyone out, even the old woman with a tea obsession. You don't have to figure out an answer right away. It often takes time for the mind to connect the dots. Just be on guard and keep vigilant that someone close to you isn't to be trusted. We know from the ditchlings that something terrible is coming your way, and it's likely that it's connecting to some hidden enemy. Perhaps we can try to counteract whatever might be planned for you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through and find out what she answers for all of the things, because she has a response. You can only choose one person to guess might be the cat. But she does have a different, unique response for each of them, and I gotta go back through and find out if any of those have changed with the new update. Anyway, sorry, I'm just getting really excited about the new update, because I haven't played it at all yet. Alright. Sybil continues. Is there anything you've seen these past few days that comes to mind? There is. The thought of those stones has pulled at the back of your consciousness since your encounter at the mines on Tuesday. And I have no option but to verbalize it because the stones are also causing compulsions. Max. And I'm gonna say Max says this half in a trance. Or as a mystical thing. Like, he usually is comfortable if he's talking about a mystical thing, so we'll call it that. Max. There are these stones, or maybe carvings, or seals. They have some sort of old demonic imagery carved into them. There was one in the mines, and one in the house last night, and they keep giving me visions of the past and my family's history. Sybil. Stones. I think you're on to something. The Scarlets built this town. Anything that can give you insight into your family's history sounds like exactly the sort of thing you should be pursuing right now. Have you sensed any others around town? Do you think you might be able to find another? Your thoughts drift to that door yesterday, the one that seemed to draw you in, urging you deeper into the clinic. Even just remembering it is enough to tug at you, compelling you to return and open it to see what's on the other side. You can find Stella later. Maybe you can even find her there. What's important now is finally seeing what's hidden in the clinic. You remain silent. Sybil. I know it's probably not a comfortable proposition, considering what's happened around them the past couple nights, but anything that happens around those stones may be worth it if it means you are able to get ahead of your adversary and whatever threatens this town. I think that's all the help I can offer. So yeah, I think it's really hard to make, Sybil is not trustworthy, but I am willing to believe that she is following a path that she thinks is best. I just don't know who she thinks it's best for. Because she definitely has Mother Knows Best vibes about her to me. She is very, very manipulative and definitely very certain that her choices and her decisions are always the correct ones. So much so that she is willing to push other people to align with her choices and decisions magically. So I'm willing to believe that she thinks she's doing it for the greater good, but it's sketchy as hell. Yeah, Artemisia, beware the wolf in sheep's clothing. She also definitely does not want you to trust your family, but, she might be right there is the thing. I'm absolutely willing to believe there is some other force going on, but, it's like in The Haunting when Charles Shaw is approached by the witch. The witch almost certainly had another goal in mind, but is not necessarily... I don't know what her motivations are. We just don't know what Sybil's motivations are yet, basically. We're on chapter 4 of 7, and this is the first chapter where we've really started to understand how sketchy Sybil is. Oh, her family's been in town forever. She talks about, in runs where you're more talkative with her, she talks about her family being, the hill folk, and how it's, they've lived here for generations. So, it seems very, very likely that she is directly descended from the witch that is referenced in the memories that you get from The Haunting in chapter 3. There is a very small chance that she's immortal and she is the same witch, but I think I'm willing to believe she is not actually immortal and this is just, the magic has just been passed down through her family lines. It's actually been stated that Kanika also has mystical senses. She's just also got book smart, so she's always been very, nope, there must be a rational explanation, and is struggling with finding, oh no, maybe sometimes there's not, but... Anyway, moving on. Sybil.
I hope this conversation has been illuminating, even if it just brought up more questions than giving any clear answers.
You get up to leave the tea room. Sybil.
Thank you again for humoring an old lady and stopping by for a chat. With a small grunt of effort, Sybil gets up from the table, and you're escorted back to the door. Sybil. And remember, be careful who you put your trust in. According to your tea, the cat is getting ready to pounce, and merely being ready for it might not be enough. Sybil closes the door to the tea room, the bells of its doors strangely flat in the stale air of the nearly empty general store.
It's time you got to the bottom of whatever was behind that door. We're just skipping the other options. Sorry, Max doesn't dislike Kanika, but isn't, so invested in having her assistance that he is willing to go bother her while she's lying down. And he definitely doesn't want to talk to Miles, so. Yeah, Artemisia, exactly. That is kind of one of the things that is along the lines of what I've been thinking. Her family is keeping the peace, but it's also, if not causing the rot in town while doing so, then certainly contributing to it.
You make your way up the familiar hill, past the rows of ragged houses that make up Scarlet Hollow's residential area. It isn't long before you find yourself outside of Dr. Kelly's clinic, its secrets enticing you to find a way in. Even at the bottom of the hill, you can already feel the presence. It's like a magnet has been fixed to your ribcage, gently tugging you forward, guiding you towards whatever emits this compulsive frequency.
Yes, so no matter what your traits are, you will have a way to enter the clinic. And, talk to animals is cute because you can go ask a woodland creature how they'd get into the house and it will get you in. But I'd forgotten the mystical option, and I love the mystical option. Just go in through the clinic door. No one will see you. You've found at times that if you haven't wished to be seen, there's been nothing stopping you from remaining hidden. Graveyards, abandoned buildings, old tunnels. You've been in all sorts of strange and unusual places without incident. And for some reason, tonight, Dr. Kelly's clinic feels no different. You haphazardly make your way up the old stairs of the clinic's wraparound porch, taking steps in strange patterns. To an outside observer, you might appear to be drunk, but there's an unconscious method to your conscious madness, even though you would be hard-pressed to describe it. But there's no creak or moan of ancient wood as you make your way to the door. Silence. You push the door open slowly and slip in. You can see the doc at a desk in some room down the hallway. She hasn't noticed you. You shut the door silently, watching her closely. You're in the clinic, free to explore as you please. Or rather, you're free to explore as you please. Mystical. You can feel that odd sensation again, the nagging pull of whatever it was that wanted you to find it. You're here now, and it knows you're here, and you know exactly what it is. Another stone carving, eager to show you its secrets. You've been caught by its gravity, an overwhelming curiosity guiding you around a corner and towards a dark doorway under the stairs. It's been left ajar, as if inviting you to enter. You turn on the lights. The lights click on. You're in the morgue. Reese. Max? What are you doing in the morgue? Or what are you doing in the morgue? Oh my gosh. No, there's not an option to not talk. Max is not... You know what? If I must say something verbally, then Max will ask about Stella. Max. You haven't seen Stella around, have you? She's been missing since last night. Reese. I haven't. Did you think you'd find her in the morgue? His words seem distant to you. The tugging is strong down here. You can almost feel yourself slipping into a trance, and your eyes wander to the back of the morgue. You need to see what's back there. Follow the pole. You touch the wall. It feels disappointingly solid under your palms. Reese. Hey, are you okay? You feel Reese's hand gently shake your shoulder, and for a moment, the thing on the other side of the blank white wall loosens its pull on you. Reese. You kinda looked possessed for a second there. You good? Make him understand. Mystical. Use your words. Don't let this fervor consume you. Be present in the moment. You inhale deeply and take in your surroundings. You can't help but notice that one of the body storage drawers is labeled Pearland Scarlet. Well, let's do this mystical explore option because mystical is the only way you can actually... Oh, absolutely, Tabitha is going to be so mad at you. So yes, being mystical is the only way to do this, and this is my only run in which my character is mystical, so we're gonna do it. Content warning for a semi-realistic drawing of a corpse. Not a gory corpse, just a normal human, slightly, like, person who died in their sleep of sleep apnea. There's no goriness, but it is very clearly a corpse. Content warning. You step forward and pull out the drawer. So this is your Aunt Pearland, Cole Baroness of the Scarlet Mines and local she-devil that it seemed no one, not even her own daughter, was able to mourn. Mystical. This is not the first corpse you've seen, but it feels the same as any other. She's an empty body now, the warmth and energy of a life now dissipated. The same as your mother was, and the same as you'll be one day. Cold air rises from her bluish skin, her vacant, filmy eyes staring up at nothing. You try to imagine what she might have looked like, alive and breathing, slinging subtle insults at the townsfolk, but it's hard to picture any expression on a face so stiff and cold with death. Reese. Making sure she didn't walk off? There is poke her just to make sure, but I think I'm not going to do that. I think Max is just going to be like, slide the drawer back in. There's no need to make any comments here. Having seen what there was to see, you slide the drawer back in and close it. Alright, mystical. Max. The mines have had a stone carving the other night, as did Oscar's house yesterday. They've been giving me visions, and I can sense one on the other side of this wall. I need to see it. Reese glances back at the wall. Reese, you're really serious, aren't you? This is probably a bad idea, but if you really need to get in there, I'm pretty sure there's an emergency axe somewhere upstairs. I just need to get the dock out of her hair. It should take 2 seconds. You say nothing, your heart pounding in your chest as you remain fixated on the wall. Reese. Be right back. He strides past you, his long legs moving swiftly. He seems excited, his usual dour demeanor replaced with an uncharacteristic pep when faced with the prospect of sneaking around and tearing down walls. You hear his soft voice filtering in through the open doorway at the top of the stairs, a hoarse and sickly edge added for effect as he speaks to his mother. Reese. Hey, Mom. He coughs gently. Dr. Kelly. Reese, I didn't know you were awake. Reese. I still feel like shit, but I think I can finally try to keep some juice down. It looks like we're all out, though. Dr. Kelly. Really? I thought I'd just picked some up. I've got an errand to run on Main Street anyway. I'll go pick up some orange juice. And some ginger ale, too. Reese. That would be awesome. Sorry to ask. I know you're probably busy. Dr. Kelly. It's no problem. It doesn't take long. Don't do anything too strenuous while I'm gone. Just lie in bed until I get back. Reese. Thanks, Mom. I'll take it easy. You hear her footsteps move down the hall, then the front door opening and closing. Reese. It worked! The theatric rasp has left his voice, excitement rising in its place. Oh, yeah, Artemisia, pack of lies. Pack of lies here. Reese. Come on up. We don't have long until she's back. As you step out of the morgue, you relax. The extra space between you and the carving has weakened its hold on you, and with it your desperation to claw your way through the wall and unveil it. Reese. It's one of those emergency fire axes, so it should be pretty obvious wherever it is, though I'm not sure where she'd be keeping it. I'll show you around. Let's try the doc's office first. You make your way to the doorway of her now vacant office. Reese. I don't see an axe in here. He's right. A cursory glance reveals nothing but stacks of paper and cabinets of medical supplies. But something on the desk catches your eye. Some sort of records, with your family's name on them.
Read the files. Because there is no reason not to.
Reese stops in the doorway, turning to watch you leaf through the documents. Reese. Find something interesting? They're your family's death certificates. Let's explore Pearland's death certificate. Cause of death, sleep apnea. Discovered by her daughter, Tabitha Chrysanthemum Scarlet. No autopsy performed. Reese. Tabitha's middle name is Chrysanthemum? Wonder who cursed her with that mouthful. Edwardine's death certificate. Edwardine Scarlet, born April 9th, 1913. Died February 12th, 2003. Aged 89. Cause of death, heart failure. Signed by her granddaughter, Pearland Scarlet. Pretty normal, almost made it to 90, died of a normal old person illness. Enoch's death certificate. Enoch Scarlet, born September 9th, 1887. Died August 20th, 1957, aged 69. Cause of death, fall from cliff. This one has a coroner's report attached. Organs sustained impact injuries. Lacerations to the neck and body consistent with fall from great height. Reese. Whoa, an actual autopsy report. Looks ancient. Other death certificates. You quickly flick through a few of the other Scarlets whose names aren't quite as familiar. Theodore Scarlet, born May 24th, 1890, died 1918, aged 28. Cause of death, crushed in mine collapse. Body not recovered. Signed by his brother Enoch Scarlet. Just want to flag that one extra. So Theodore Scarlet, Enoch Scarlet's little brother, is recorded, his death certificate is recorded as saying that he was crushed in the mine collapse and his body was not recovered. Yeah, well, I'm just saying remember Theodore Scarlet. Joseph Scarlet, born April 1914, died June 7th, 1944. Louis Scarlet, born August 1920, died June 6th, 1944. Both killed at Normandy in the line of duty. These must have been Edwardine's brothers. Certificate of fetal death. Infant boy, Andrew Charles Scarlet. Delivered April 3rd, 1945. Stillbirth. Mother, Edwardine Scarlet. Cause of death. Complications during birth. No doctor present. Home burial. Yeah, sus. Speaking of normal, surprisingly normal causes of death for this town, this one is a little less normal. Alexandra Scarlet, born December 12th, 1947, died August 20th, 1957, the very same day that Enoch died from a fall from a cliff. Aged 9, missing, presumed dead, signed by Mother Edwardine Scarlet. Alexandra, the owner of the doll. So she went missing. Mary Bell Scarlet, born September 3rd, 1946. Died October 30th, 1963. Aged 17. Cause of death, complications during childbirth. Signed by her mother, Edwardine Scarlet. Reese. Wow, that's a lot of kids to outlive. Yeah, Artemisia, missing. So there's a lot of possibilities there, but one of my main theories is that Enoch did something that killed Alexandra, or intentionally killed her, and Edwardine killed him in retaliation. That is my theory. Reese's eyes flick up to the doorway, and a second later you hear the sound of the front door handle being turned. His hand is on your shoulder before you even register what's happening, and you're pushed back and out of view of the front door. Reese. Shit, I'm not supposed to be in here. We gotta hide. He hurries to the closet door, motioning you inside. You slip inside and squish yourself into what little space is available in the nearly full closet. Reese is close on your heels. You let him in. Together, you listen as the doctor makes her way to some room deeper in the clinic. In the silence of the tiny closet, every breath seems too loud, as if you could expect Dr. Kelly to hear it from wherever she was across the house. Reese. We'd better wait a second, just in case. You press yourself against the boxes in the back of the closet, trying to avoid being seen through the small slit in the door. The two of you stand in tense silence, both crammed into the suffocating closet, taking shallow breaths as if she could hear you breathing from the other side of the building. But the footsteps soon return. Dr. Kelly makes her way back towards your hiding place, creaking floorboards broadcasting her location all the way to the hallway just outside your hiding spot. The footsteps return. They get louder, approaching the open office door, and then they stop. Much to your relief, she opens another door, leaving the main clinic. Reese. We're in the clear. We've probably only got a minute or two until she comes back, so let's make it count. The medical supply room is probably our best bet. If any other room in the clinic is likely to have a fire axe, it's probably the room full of chemicals. This way. He motions you down a hallway, slipping through the slightly ajar door of what you assume to be the supply room. Yes, there it is. Keys. Here we go. He rushes over to the cabinet that contains a bright red axe, pulling the glass door open. Reese. Your axe? Now we can... Reese pauses, turning to listen intently. That was the door from the house. Come on, if we hurry, we can get you back downstairs. I'll run interference. Go downstairs, quick. You can hear her approaching now, floorboards creaking in the hallway on the other side of the office. You follow Reese's instructions, once again starting down the basement stairs, letting the pull of the stone carving guide you back to the morgue. Dr. Kelly's voice filters down from above. Dr. Kelly. I was right, we did already have juice. It was just in the back of the fridge, but there's no harm in having extra. What are you doing in the clinic? I thought I told you to go rest. Reese. Oh, I'm just gonna chill in the morgue. I got my speakers, so if you hear some weird sounds, that's just my music. Dr. Kelly. I'll be sure to put in earplugs to drown out all that industrial clanging you listen to. You know I'm not the biggest fan of you spending time down there. It can't be good for your mental health to hang out in a refrigerator for corpses. Do you at least have a blanket this time? Reese. Yeah, I'll be fine. It's just a change of scenery. My room feels too claustrophobic right now. Dr. Kelly. Okay, I'll let you know when it's time for dinner. You hear the door at the top of the stairs close, and the sound of Reese descending the stairs to join you in the fluorescent-lit room below. Reese. Hey. I'm gonna say this on the basis of... No, you know what? I'm just gonna say let's do this. I know, right, Artemisia? But apparently the music that he listens to sounds like walls being torn down. I guess maybe the idea is that it goes bum, 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 and to the sound of like similar to the sound of like an axe making those. So I can't make those noises. Never mind. I'm gonna stop. All right. Apparently, I have to say something. So, Max, let's do this. Reese, have at it. You approach the far end of the morgue, axe practically singing through the air as you strike the wall. The first cut offers a surprising amount of resistance. There is some structure behind it, some wood frame holding it in place, trying to stand between you and what waits for you on the other side. You stagger back from the massive hole in the wall and admire your effort. Reese. Holy shit! The splintered edge frames a dark passage, seemingly cut deep into the side of the cliff, cold seeping from a forgotten place into the already frigid morgue. Reese coughs as he takes a better look at what lies beyond the wound in the wall. Reese. There's a whole hallway back there. Thick, stale air leaks from the hole, filling the morgue with an earthy mildew smell, like the room is slowly filling with dirt. And with the stink of the grave-like room beyond comes an even stronger compulsion. You step forward, and you climb into the hole. Reese, this is wild! I had no idea any of this was here. An entire hospital ring rotting away for decades behind some flimsy drywall. Artemisia, the smell is what's gonna get you in trouble. Yeah, you mean like that mold smell? The black mold that you're gonna get in your lungs? Ah, well. Something, well... It is possible that all of these characters are going to damage their lungs in the long term, but in the short term it probably won't actually make a big difference in the game. Step forward into the unknown. You step forward into the unknown. You don't bother to retrieve the axe. The final wall concealing the carving is rotten, water damage having eaten away at the wood over the course of unknowable years, the planks nearly reduced to sawdust. You tear into it. And there is the carving. Injured man. Enoch, I thought you weren't going to come. I was worried you'd leave me here forever. Injured. They said there's nothing they can do. I'll never use my legs again. Enoch, what am I gonna do? Enoch. Calm down, Teddy. These doctors don't know what they're talking about. I've been doing my own research and I've found us an alternative. We won't have to worry about anything from here on out. I promise. I went to talk to the witch. Teddy. A witch? But that's nonsense. Enoch. It's all right. It's all sorted. We're taking you home today, and everything will be resolved by this time next week. Enoch. That's right, Doctor. At this point, I think it's safe to say his body was never recovered. Whoever it was who claimed to be Theodore, it wasn't him. Wasn't even paralyzed, as it turns out. Just some grifter trying to take advantage of the tragedy. Everything goes black. Your vision swims back into focus, and it takes a solid second or two to reorient yourself. Okay, before I could keep going with that, though, the brother whose body was, quote-unquote, not recovered, indeed, Artemisia. And Enoch sure did tell everyone it was not, that his body was not recovered. But, yeah. Some people have also noted that there is a point in The Haunting in Chapter 3 where you speak to someone where you in Charles Shaw's memories, he spoke to someone who mystics can identify as the entity, who said something about, if I were you, I'd use my healthy legs and get out of here while I can. So there's definitely been some, and also there's the fact that Wayne sure seems like an entity who used to be an actual person named Sam Wayne. So definitely there's a popular theory there that is whatever has happened to Sam Wayne was originally done to Teddy, to Theodore Scarlet. So, yeah. Body not recovered. Indeed. Because it's more convenient that way if nobody knows that his brother's still alive. Anyway, you're in an unfamiliar bed. Reese leans against the far wall, eyeing you with concern and curiosity. Reese. Hey, I was worried you'd slipped into a coma or something. You tore down a wall like a wild animal, found some weird carving, and collapsed. I think you might have had some kind of seizure? Are you okay? You say nothing. Reese. I think it's best we stay put for now. I refused to take my quote-unquote medicine. He didn't say quote-unquote, sorry. I refused to take my medicine, so the doc's on the warpath up there. I have no idea what she's doing, but I've blocked my door so she can't get down here. Now we just have to wait her out. You remain silent. Reese. A distraction seems like a good idea. As you can probably tell, I'm getting a little jittery. It doesn't feel awful, to be honest. Let's just go with the flow, I guess. Max is just kind of like, okay, I don't really know what's going on here, but sure, I guess I'll just quietly sit here until you let me leave your basement room? Reese. So, if we've got some time to kill, we could always watch a movie. I'm really into horror movies, as I'm sure you could tell, and it has been so long since I've had somebody over to watch one with me. You know, I've been wanting to share Shi-no-Chi Deathblood with someone for years. Reese gets the movie set up and joins you on the bed. Reese. Let me know if it gets to be too much for you. I'm not a great judge of how other people will react to the sort of things I watch, but I definitely don't want you to feel uncomfortable. This is a slow burn of a movie, but the dread it's managing to build is palpable in the room. Or maybe that's just how it feels down here all the time. What with the grisly paintings, lack of lighting, cinder block walls, and, of course, the fact that its inhabitant has been practically homebound since his teens. Reese. I've seen a couple of this director's other films, and they're all interesting, though this is probably the best introduction to his work. The way it jump cuts to seemingly unrelated TV show recordings that then wind up tying back into the narrative adds a level of realism and depth to the world that I find really engrossing. It's found footage used to its fullest. I can't believe I'll be able to just do things from here on out, like watch movies with another person. Or talk to people, ever. Yeah, it's interesting because in this version, he never actually got a look at the ricin plant, the castor bean. So he has no idea that his medicine is poison in this version. And this is still happening anyway. I'm pretty sure that this is being triggered by the stone carving in some way. For him to just decide this is the day he's gonna stop taking his medicine for no apparent reason, and then decide, yes, and now I feel better not having taken it, without having the context, is just, yeah, nah, that feels very, this was gonna happen no matter what, stone carving says so. You can hear the difference in energy now that Reese hasn't had his daily dose of medicine. He's uncharacteristically chatty, clearly not used to talking to another person, let alone when he has the energy to carry on a long conversation. Mystical. Something is changing inside of him. Yeah, okay, mystical option here. Max. Reese. You feel different. Like your whole personality is changing. Is everything okay? Reese. Everything is more than okay. I haven't felt this good and I don't think I've ever felt this good. A man on the screen yells portents of doom into the camera, trailing off into a wordless scream. The plot is really heating up. Reese. I love that there are all these distinct sort of vignettes, little pockets of horror that affect a small number of people, and only once you start to see how they fit together can you realize some fundamental horror about the universe. And then it sees you back. Incredible. Cosmic horror in the truest sense. Reese is becoming very animated. It's probably safe to assume that he's dealing with a lot of extra adrenaline right now, what with his entire reality turning out to be a lie. Again, that line doesn't entirely make sense in this context. Usually there's some way where he has figured out that the medicine is poison, but... Rephrase, that the medicine is ricin. But he's also talking over the movie. Mystical. It's more than just something that's changing in Reese. It's everything. There's a knock on the window. Wayne.
Max, don't get any closer to that thing. It's time to go home.
Reese. That voice. I know that voice! Another thing the fandom has questions about. Why does Reese know that voice? Without another word, Wayne starts pounding on the window. Reese. Good luck, freak! That glass is shatterproof! Enemies upstairs, enemies outside, we're surrounded! Even if I get out of this house, I won't be safe. You won't be safe. Oh, there aren't any options that involve just not talking here. So let's go with Max. Why did he call you that thing? Reese. Because he's some sort of monster, and he wants me dead. Can't you feel that? The murderous intent is practically oozing out of him. But I'm not weak anymore. I can fight back. I don't have to cower in fear from the people who want to hurt me. Content warning upcoming for body horror. And, like, strange bodily transformations from human into not human. So maybe Uncanny Valley? No, not quite. If you have ever watched the Magnus Archives, Stranger. Yay, thank you. Although, we're going to wait just a second for that, because I have just been delivered dinner. And I'm going to have at least a bite of it before I get into the, like, big, exciting climactic bit. So, one moment. Okay. There. Okay, so yes, content warning, body distortion. Oh, right, I was gonna say, anyone who has watched the Magnus Archives, I'd say it's very flesh. And maybe also Stranger. But if not, just body horror, body distortion. Reese. I can protect both of us, Max. The window shatters. As Reese tears at his clothes, paint bubbles out from the canvases, his ghoulish figures peeling themselves out of their two-dimensional worlds, invading yours, crawling up the walls. Wayne.
Grab my hand. I'll pull you out.
Reese.
Leave us alone.
In a surge of violence, the change that has been brewing inside of Reese finally comes. As it manifests, the broken basement window is sealed off, and Wayne along with it. I'm gonna say that Max's approach here is going to be to run. You've seen enough to know that you need to leave. You run up the stairs. The door is blocked by a chair. And then it's blocked by something else, too. Man. Neither of these feel like good options, but I guess try and tear through them, too? You toss the chair out of the way and do your best to tear through the paintings covering the door. It reforms and regenerates too quickly for you to claw your way through. Welp! Nice try! That! Defeated, you turn back to the basement. The remainder of Reese's paintings await their artist's command. Reese.
It's okay. Stay right there. I can take care of this. Then she won't be able to hurt anyone anymore. I'll be right back.
Reese storms up the stairs, leaving you with his smears. I think Max is just gonna be like, this Tabitha did say to call her if I got into trouble. This is trouble. You dial your cousin's number. Tabitha. What mess have you gotten yourself into now? Max, who is not good at verbalizing at the best of times, is going to say, clinic, emergency, scary. Tabitha. Here we go again. Stay put. Don't move a muscle. Don't get sucked into any ghost dimensions or stuck in a mind collapse. Do you hear me? I'll be right there. Your cousin hangs up the phone. I think Max is going to at least try to warn Dr. Kelly that her son is trying to eat her. You make your way to the door that beckoned to you yesterday, all intrigue now washed away. You know where it leads, and you know what secrets the stone that lurked in the forgotten basement of the clinic had to share with you. Now the clinic holds a new horror. Somewhere beyond the narrow hallway leading from the house proper into the doctor's office, there is a monster, preparing to do something unthinkable. You grasp the handle and turn. Dr. Kelly. Duck! Max ducks. You do as she says, ducking out of the way. She shoots. The gun isn't very loud. There's only a pop as the projectile leaves the barrel, whizzing through the air. You turn to see the dart embedded in Reese's chest. He pulls the tranquilizer dart out from between his ribs, heaving heavy breaths as the drug courses through his system. Reese. You're gonna have to try harder than that, you bit... No! How did you... Wayne.
As if you could hope to stop me, you pathetic waste of flesh.
Before Wayne takes another step down the stairs, paint flows out between cracks in the wood, Reese's panic pulling in a mob of furious smears to hold his enemies in place. The artist darts away, but the smears continue their work in his absence. Dr. Kelly makes her escape down the hallway, and Wayne is overcome, glued in place at the top of the stairs by stiffening globs of paint. Well, the point was to run after Dr. Kelly, so, there was also some totally... There was something that was said there, but... You run forward, braving the onslaught of the smears, dodging them as best you can as you try to see where Dr. Kelly went. I feel like the sort of person who would go back for Becca and Alexis in the cave-in, in the mine collapse, would also be the sort of person who would try to warn Dr. Kelly. The door in front of you is smothered in paint. Dr. Kelly. Hey! Dr. Kelly's voice crackles out of some unseen speaker. Dr. Kelly. You! Max! I'm stuck in the safe room. I can't help you from here, but you can help the both of us. I need you to get to the medical storage room. I'll give you further instructions when you're there. Head to the medical storage. You turn back around and head to the medical storage room. Max. I'm here. Dr. Kelly. Great. Now listen to me. I need you to use the black taped key to get into the cabinet and bring me the elephant tranquilizers. It's a bottle labeled carfentanil. Bear tranquilizers clearly aren't going to cut it anymore. Reese. An intercom system, huh, Doc? Good. You should hear this. Max, you don't have to do anything she says. I'm not gonna hurt anybody else. Just her. If I don't, you and I both know she's just going to shoot me full of elephant tranquilizers? Did I hear that right? And shove me back down in that basement, or maybe someplace even worse, and keep killing me every day for the rest of my miserable existence. I feel amazing right now. Better than I've ever felt in my life. I'm not dangerous, she's just scared because she knows she has to finally pay for what she's taken from me. You say nothing. Is way too much for Max. Dr. Kelly. It's okay, Max. Just get to the cabinet and I can get all of this sorted out. Reese. You don't have to do what she says. She's told me what to do for as long as I've been alive. And look where that landed me. Half dead, holed up in a basement. And she'd put me right back if she had her way. Hell, if she had no trouble doing this to her own son, who else might she be treating without their knowledge? So just stay right there. While I do what needs to be done. There won't be a speck of blood on your hands. Wayne. Enough. Reese cries out in pain. Reese. What the hell did you do to my shoulder? Wayne.
I'll handle it. Try to get somewhere safe until then.
The two stagger off down the hallway. Dr. Kelly. Quick! Grab the tranquilizers and head to the safe room. You do as she says. The tranquilizers are easy to find, marked with a small square of black tape to match the key. She's certainly an organized woman. Head for the safe room. You make your way out of the medical storage room and back to the hallway where Dr. Kelly disappeared. As you approach, Dr. Kelly heaves open the door, slowly breaking apart the mass of paint sealing it shut. Dr. Kelly. Hurry! I don't think I can keep it open for long. You slip past her into the safe room. She shuts the door quickly, though one of the little smears manages to slip past her. She stomps on it. Painted viscera splatters across the cement floor. Dr. Kelly. It sounds like Reese and your friend are still fighting. We probably have a few minutes before he gets here. Alright, I'm gonna take a bite of food and then we'll get back to this, but honestly, I'm not sure Max cares what Reese is or what's going on. I think he's just very overwhelmed and wants to be out of this situation like yesterday. Anyway, sorry. One more bite of food, then I go back. Okay. So we're gonna sit in silence and wait for Reese. You and Dr. Kelly sit in silence and wait for her son to make his way to you. The sound of distant breaking glass cuts through the silence of the clinic outside the safe room. Dr. Kelly. Shit, this might be game time. Dr. Kelly opens the door. The two of you stare out into the hallway. This sure is a visual. Reese. Is this what you were so afraid of? Yes? I'm sorry, every time this scene happens and he asks that, I'm like, yes! Yes, it is! Have you seen yourself in a mirror? Anyway, there are technically 5 endings to Chapter 4. I think. No, wait. Okay, so... First of all, there is the metric of if you called Tabitha or if you didn't. Because that adds an extra dynamic. So, call Tabitha or not. Try to warn Dr. Kelly or not. And then, of course, if you have the special skill for it. So, I am only doing 4 runs, so I can't do every possible permutation. And actually, now I'm thinking about it, it might have been just... So, basically... In this version, I did call Tabitha, but the result I'm going for is one that doesn't change much if you call Tabitha. It's just that Tabitha is also there and knows what's happening. And there is a part of me that's now questioning that decision because I feel like Max had done such a good job of not getting Tabitha involved until now. But I think I was influenced by the fact that I, the player, really liked Tabitha. And she did specifically ask your character to call her if any other magical danger cropped up. So I think it still makes roleplay sense for Max to have been like, okay, this seems exactly like what Tabitha was talking about. Maybe I will call for help. So anyway, right, sorry, I'm gonna stop talking about the end of the chapter and I'm going to play it and show the end instead. Anyway, so yes, Reese, is this what you were so afraid of? Dr. Kelly. Hand over the tranquilizers. This is our shot. Well, Max was ready to give her the tranquilizer darts, but before Dr. Kelly can fire, a different shot rings out. Reese's body is thrown into the wall. Shotgun in hand, your cousin rounds the corner and trains her weapon on his writhing body. Dr. Kelly. Tabitha, what are you doing here? Stop it. Let me sedate him. We can deal with this non-lethally. Tabitha. Are you insane? That thing was trying to kill you! You leap forward. I think Max just doesn't really want anyone to die, and it's one of those, it's a naive sentiment. Right? Like, this isn't exactly it. Reese might not be better off alive in this situation, but, you know, that's Max, the choice Max has made, you know, thankfully with Quinn, the Thembo, who really doesn't want anyone to die, I was able to just be like, let's just fix the situation. But since that's not an option here, I think Max's main goal is, I don't want to see anyone here die. So, is going to allow the sedation thing to happen because the actual how and why of it is way beyond him, but he's like, let's just, the thing I myself am going to personally be and do as to have an effect on here is whether or not anyone dies tonight. And there is, and what happens to them after that is beyond my capacity to deal with in this moment. So yes, all right. You leap forward, placing your body between Tabitha and the whimpering Reese, his face already trying to stitch itself back together as he writhes on the ground. Tabitha. Max, what the hell do you think you're doing? You stare down your cousin. Tabitha. He's gonna get back up if you don't get out of the way! Dr. Kelly. Both of you shut up and help me drag him into the safe room, now! You turn and see Dr. Kelly, already pulling her son towards the open doorway. Tabitha swings the gun onto her back, huffily jumping in to help Dr. Kelly. It's not long before his regenerating body is sealed away behind the door. Dr. Kelly. Not exactly how I thought that would play out, but at least none of us are dead. If you've done any permanent damage to him, you're going to be the one paying for the medical supplies, Miss Scarlet. Tabitha. You aren't seriously going to keep that thing alive, are you? It's clearly dangerous. What makes you think you can keep it locked up? Dr. Kelly. It is my son, Miss Scarlet, and despite appearances, he is still human. I prefer that you refer to him as such. And I've managed to keep him safely locked away and harmless for years. Sure, it'll be a little more difficult now that he knows about his condition, but that room is lined with lead. He's not going anywhere. It's always wild to me that she says that, because lead is kind of a soft metal, but whatever. Tabitha. He's human? Are you sure about that? Are we talking about the same guy? Dr. Kelly. Trust me, I've done genetic tests. He is human somehow, and it's my job as his mother to protect him and to protect people from him. It's not a burden I take lightly. You don't have to worry about him getting out anytime soon. Max. I want to go home. Tabitha. I'm parked just down the hill. And Joan, I'll be checking in on you. You better figure out what to do with him soon, or I won't hesitate to step in and make sure he's dealt with before he manages to break out again. Dr. Kelly. Get out of my house. You and your cousin leave the clinic, Dr. Kelly slamming the shotgun-blasted door behind you. The two of you make your way to the bottom of the hill, where Tabitha's car is parked among the sleepy houses of Scarlet Hollow's residential street. She places her gun in the trunk and turns to face you. Tabitha. You're alone right now. Is Stella still missing? I tried calling her a couple times, but I kept getting her stupid voicemail. Max. Yeah. The two of you are interrupted by the sound of panting and the telltale jingling of dog tags. It's the militia. They've poured out of the woods to stand before you on the road. Tabitha. What in the... Scraps. You were looking for Gretchen, weren't you? Daisy.
We found her and her person. They're by the side of the road, a little ways through the woods.
Scraps. They're both fine, but the human wouldn't leave when we tried to make her, and Gretchen insisted on sticking by her side, so we'll have to take you to them. Daisy.
Hopefully you can use your people words to get them to go someplace safe. The woods are crawling with those awful creatures. It's not safe anymore, not even for a human.
Tabitha. Why do these dogs look so serious? We should get in the car before they eat us. I will count this as a talk to animals. Max. They found Stella. Come on, we'd better follow them. Tabitha. How do you know that? Wordlessly follow the dogs. You start towards the tree line, disappearing into the underbrush before Tabitha can try to stop you. Tabitha. Hey, where are you going? Your cousin jogs after you. You let the dogs lead you into the wilderness, following on their heels as they take you to Stella. Before long, the trees thin, and you find yourself on a steep hill by a 2-lane road, lined on one side by sheer rock. Scraps. And there they are.
Daisy. Keep them safe.
Scraps. Be seeing you, speaker.
They leave. There, sitting on a log, staring mournfully out at the asphalt, is Stella. You watch her from the underbrush.
Tabitha. Great. She's alive. Let's go. I want to encourage her to talk to Stella, but I want to know what happened. Well, Max is a little overwhelmed, and I also want to know what happens if you stay silent here. So he's just going to be like,
you remain silent.
Tabitha. Wait, you're not... I really thought you were going to push back on that. Fine, if you're going to be weird about this, I'll go talk to her. Just give us some space, okay? Yes! Max's ideal outcome has been reached without him having to utter a single word. He just... You know what? I'm going to say that the way that silence worked is he just kind of looked at her without, like, commenting in any direction. She's like, okay, fine, I'll go talk to her. And he's just like, and is going to just wait back here while you two have the conversation.
Tabitha takes a step forward, gravel crunching beneath her boots as she walks along the side of the road towards Stella. Stella looks up. A tired smile spreads across her face at the sight of your cousin, standing awkwardly on the slight slope of the roadside. They talk, their voices quiet in the still night air. After a while, they both stand and walk off into the forest together, Gretchen tucked under Stella's arms.
It's time for you to go home. Wow, did Tabitha just walk off with Stella and leave you? I mean, to be fair, it is only fair, like, after the number of times that Max has just not looped her in. But yeah, alright, sorry, I forgot to read that Wayne line. So Wayne just shows up, says,
"Come along now. It's quite a hike back to the estate."
He appears as if out of nowhere, clothes streaked with what at first looks like blood and gore, but you quickly realize is paint. Evidence of his altercation with Reese.
Wayne.
"I'll walk you."
Yeah, Max is just like, okay, I guess this is my life now, and it's just like, shrugs and starts walking. Is my headcanon for that. Is the option is let him walk you home, but yeah, no, my headcanon is that Max is just like, why the fuck not? And just starts walking. Wayne.
"Shall we?"
Wayne walks just ahead of you in near complete silence. You continue in silence back to the estate.
Wayne.
"I'm sure that we'll see each other tomorrow. You should try to spend some time in that old building before you head to town. Tabitha won't be around, too busy at the mines. Forbidden places won't be forbidden without her there to stop you, and you might be surprised at what you find. Until then, sleep well,"
says the creepy guy who definitely has been in your room at night. He disappears into the underbrush. Go home. Although it's interesting. I mean, I get that it is really common when I am in a place for an extended period of time, I also start to think of wherever I'm staying as home for the purposes of temporary discussion, but, like, it is funny that it keeps being like, go home. Because that's definitely making a statement about the whole long-lost Scarlet thing.
The estate is empty, wind howling through its abandoned halls, the very foundations creaking beneath you.
You know, it's funny how much time you save when your character just doesn't want to talk to anyone. So many dialogue options skipped.
Exhausted beyond belief, you stumble into your room and collapse on the bed. The damp smell of the mattress is starting to become almost welcoming, a sign that the now daily horrors of Scarlet Hollow are finally behind you. At least until the sun inevitably rises once again. You close your eyes, your exhausted body succumbing to sleep almost immediately. As you drift off, you think of Reese, trapped in that tiny, windowless room, all his greatest fears realized, his body no longer his own. But you stopped him from killing Dr. Kelly. The world, at least for now, is protected from him. And then you think of nothing.
And this is the end of episode 4. Yeah, with Max, even with Max being unusually chatty this chapter, still managed to do the chapter in 3 hours. Which tracks. It's one of the things I like about having a run where the character often just opts out of dialogue options. But yeah, so that is a talk to animals and mystical take on chapter 4. And so as I've mentioned before, my Monday streams, so I finished Cinderella Phenomenon. My Monday streams are switching to every other week, so I will not be streaming next week, but I will be streaming the week after that, and I think I'm going to restart the Karen run. So my next 4 Monday streams, which means the next 2 months, is gonna be finally doing that run and actually being mean. I don't like being mean to people, but for the sake of people being able to see a run, what happens in a run when you do that. And I know anyone who actually watches me regularly will know I did already try to do the first 2 chapters, but I did not like how that run went, so I have unpublished those streams, and I'm gonna start over again from the beginning. Because I have looked at it in, like, off-stream runs, and so I have kind of a sense of how to do things differently in a way that works better for how I was envisioning the Let's Be Mean to People run. I want to also comment again, this is very unusual for me. I do not actually like being mean in games. Like, the only reason I want to do it in Scarlet Hollow is because Scarlet Hollow is so interesting. It's got such a rich story that it's like you get people treating you differently, and the story goes a little differently if no one likes you. So that is the goal, is for Karen to be a somewhat insufferable person who no one likes. And I actually think one of the ways I'm going to try to do that is before, like, I have always had her talk to animals, so she's, like, mean to people but nice to animals. But I am thinking I might not do that this run, and I might just have her... I don't know what skills I'm going to give her yet, but one of them is going to be book smart just because no one else has book smart, so might as well. But I don't know what the other one is going to be yet. So anyway, so in 2 weeks, I will be starting that run again, and we'll see how that goes. And other than that, I will be doing my normal Earthbound stream on Friday, and as usual, whether I will be doing a multiplayer stream is up in the air, but keep tuned. And thank you so much. Thank you, Johnny, for hanging out, for lurking, and Artemisia for hanging out and chatting. And that person who I still feel bad that who was a first-time chatter, who I still feel bad that I didn't see them right away. Becca loves games. And also Box Puppy, who was lurking earlier. So, and also anyone else who's been lurking, anyone else who's watching this later, I appreciate you all very, very much. And I will see folks another time. Bye!